My YouTube fellas and gals. Welcome to my live stream. Okay, let me see. I always forget to share myself out. All right, so last week I started working on some painting papers. I want to try something tonight and see how this works. Okay, so my pages aren't too stuck together because I made sure I pulled them apart, but these ones here you can see the lines through more because I forgot to use gesso, which I do that sometimes. So we're going to work a little more on some pages. So I don't know if this will work, but crafting's all about kind of guessing. So we're going to grab a baby wipe. And we're going to grab a distress ink of all things. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to do this blue. Well, hello, Alan. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Paradox Fossils Alan. Well, don't you have a cool looking channel over there? I like when people do walks through woods too. Well, that's cool. My mother has been to Brandon, Missouri. She liked it. She thought it was cool. I have never been to Missouri yet. Maybe someday. Hey, bud. The Bud family. Do. Oh my gosh, you guys are so cute. I was starting to watch your monster. When I was watching your monster episode, I like your intro. Your intro is so cute, bud. Okay. So I wanted to take and try this. I don't know if this will work, but we're going to see. We're going to use my napkin. Ooh, check it out. I don't know if I should have put, that is really cool. I don't know if I should have put gesso down or not, but I did it. So we're taking a baby wipe and a distress ink pad. Oh, I like that. It's given like a stormy gray look. That is so cool. Because, this is my first mixed media book, so I want to try some different stuff. Jen! Oh my goodness, my wild mama. Hey, Matt. I'm up here playing, Jen. Look at this. I'm making a stormy weather page. Well, that is so cool looking. I'm liking this. What was funny is I saw a crafter. I think it was Penny Pudge. She was using a paintbrush or something, a tool, and she was doing it off of her ink pad. And I thought, wonder if I tried this on paper with a baby wipe, what would happen? I am liking this really much so. That is cool. That is so super duper cool. found something new to play with. Okay. So that is the Chipped Sapphire Destructs Oxide by Ranger. I like my Ranger. Okay, so what can we do the other side in? Let's do something a little lighter. Hold on. I didn't open this one, so this is a new one. Come on. This is where you come to watch me make a mess with crafts. Jen, you're so crazy. I don't like pink. Ew. Pink is my least favorite color. I'm a tomboy. I like my blue. Actually, I love my blue. Have you been a naughty girl lately, Jen, or have you been a good girl? Let me get my hugs in here. Did I get everybody? Forgot to get Matt. Can't skip my people. You know, I remember back in the day, they used me, pink, yuck. I am team blue, Missy. Pink reminds me of Pepto-Bismol. It's like, ew. I used to hate that stuff as a kid. Team blue, cheers, cheers. Yeah, we know, Jen. That's why I love you, because you're so naughty. Anyways, I miss it when YouTube used to have it to where everybody, whether you were in black or blue, they could check out people's channels. I hate that they stop us from, being fun people. So anyways, we'll put this one aside. I got a whole bunch of colors over here to play with, but I'm going to play with green. Look how pretty that green is. This one here is called Cracked Pistachio. So let's see what we have. I have been painting my nails this week. Woo! It's almost like a dark purple. It's called Amethyst Stone. It's actually pretty. It's a pretty color. But anyways, I'm not a professional. I just do my thing. Okay, let's see here. We're going to play with some green. Okay, this is what it looks like. Okay, we got just a regular Parents' Choice baby wipe. I love having these around the house because they're great for cleaning stamps, your rubber stamps. That's what I clean my rubber stamps with when I use them, when I'm stamping, because if I don't, I will be a mess because I'm a messy Marvin kind of girl. I would have it all over my clothes, probably clear down to my toes. So, yeah, I got to clean my stuff up after I use it. A lot of crafters might wait to the end. I can't. Because if I do, I'm a mess. Me and Tina were laughing. Tina Messes Crafty Life. She cracks me up. She said her husband will be like, do you realize you have gesso on your ear? She's messy as me. Actually, she's messier. She's cute. She's a cute crafter. She's on vacation. I miss my messy Tina. But this is cute. I didn't use no gesso. So, and this is how it turns out. But gesso kind of gives a cool look too. Because I use watercolors. And it is really cool the look it gives underneath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 pages without gesso underneath like these. And we're going to test it. I was just afraid using a baby wipe that it would pick up the gesso. And I don't know if it would re-wet it or not. I don't know. I guess it's a chance I'll have to take. Let's see what happens. So we get these 2 colors. I got more colors to play with, so I'll put this aside. Okay, let's see if this is dry enough. Some of this dries pretty fast. That's not dry yet. That's got spots. It's not dry. It'll get there, but I have a blow dryer, so hold on. Right now, I'm just working on backgrounds. Woo! Because I want to finish my book. For those that are new to my channel, this is my very first time doing my own mixed media book. And this is the beginning. And what I had to do is I ran out of background, so I had to repaint. Sometimes the pages stick together, but that's okay. And I'm making new backgrounds so that I can finish this book. I love these 2 pages. I think these 2 pages are so cool. Okay. So that's gesso. I don't care if they stick together because I can unstick them. Come on, come on. Unstick, unstick. You could take this mat, which is really cool, and put it between the pages, but I'm making a sloppy first mixed media book because I want to. Okay, so we're going to take a paintbrush. Let me get my gesso brush over here. Give me a second. I'm not paying attention to the chat, so wait a second. I got to gesso up my pages, and then I'll read it. My favorite paintbrushes are called Zooting. No, this isn't like an affiliate or anything like that. I just like these because they're cheap and they're from Walmart. I buy these all the time. I'm not much for the wooden handles. I like the plastic handles better because I think they last longer, especially when I leave mine in water a lot. And the ones kind of get sticky. Okay. So this is my gesso. I actually get this off of Amazon. I like this big bottle of gesso. And then I paint lightly. This kind of prevents your paper from, you know, leaking, like stuff penetrating through your paper. It's just a nice layer to go in the background. So we're going to do this first. It's kind of like when you do your painting on your walls and you have a primer. This is what's good for paper. You know, I almost took a paintbrush. I was tempted because my craft room down here is red. It's disgusting. I hate the walls in this room. It's a red paneling. It was like that when we moved in here, and it's like, I just want to take in a paintbrush and just paint over my entire wall in this room. I've thought about it. My luck, I'd make a mess, and then it would become costly. So I try to be a good girl. You know, I got to admit, don't give me do-it-yourself network channels. Jen, do you know what I did? I got to tell you a story because I know you're naughty like me. I wanted my bathroom to be bigger in my first house that we flipped. So I got to watching the do-it-yourself network, and I got so caught up in these people doing stuff, I busted the wall out in my damn bathroom. My husband came home. What the heck did you do? I said, I took a hammer to the wall. I'm sorry. I did too. Because we had a little bathroom, and the layout was when you walk into the bathroom, you had a tiny little vanity right here. You had this great big old tub right here with no shower. And then you had this little itty bitty toilet. And the bathroom was just so small, I couldn't handle it. And we had a closet next to the bathroom. And this is Tammy's vision. The closet was right here. So there was a wall between the bathroom and the closet. So I wanted that closet to be where the shower unit with the tub would go in, so that the tub and that would be long ways. Then we could put a toilet here, have a nice big window right here, and a nice vanity over here. It extended my bathroom. My husband was so mad at me for busting that wall out. He made me wait like another 2 years, little brat, before he finished it. But when it was done, it was gorgeous. We had a gray shower unit with a gray toilet, and then we had brown, because I have a tendency of, I like not real dark browns, not light browns, but like in the middle. I like hickory. It's like my favorite wood. And then we had waterproof paneling on the wall that was like a mixture of blues and gray swirls. It was really pretty when it was done. And then it had, I don't know, I love picking out styles, but the, what do you call it? The trim was like a wood too, and it made it stand out. It was beautiful when it was done. But anyways, I do have before and after pictures. I can't remember if I took pictures of the new bathroom when we installed it or not. But anyways, we flipped a house and we rented it, and the renter burnt the house down. So all that work we did flipping the rental property went poof up in smoke, but it was an accident. I'm just glad her and the kids didn't burn up. That, things are replaced, people aren't. But some people in my family, got mad because I didn't react worse. Like, what do you want me to do? Get down on my knees and cry? I mean, yes, it was a loss of a house, but nobody got killed in it, and that means more to me than anything. So I just don't grieve the way some people would do, I guess. I don't know. The girl that burnt the house down reacted harder than I did. She was like hyperventilating in the driveway, and because she lost everything. She had she didn't have renter's insurance, and all of her stuff got lost, and I felt horrible for her. But I ended up going to the basement, and I did find some of the items that she had downstairs, because that's where the laundry room was. And I took it to the laundromat and washed everything up. Like, I Googled what takes smoke out, and it was pretty much like white vinegar and Era. So I mixed it together and did a bunch of stuff for her at the laundromat and saved some of her stuff and her kids' stuff. But it was crazy. It was crazy that day. But that's how we lost our rental property. And it was sad. But like I said, I would rather lose things than people. So stuff happens. But I do have big pictures of the house, some of the rooms before they were flipped and after, and it was a job. The kitchen cabinets alone were Amish, and let me tell you, if you punched one, you'd break your hand before you'd break that cabinet. I mean, they were solid. I took and spent hours outside at the picnic table with a sander, and I sanded all the cabinets down by hand, and then I redid them in ebony. An ebony color, a stain. Boy, was it beautiful. If I could have got a hold of a brand, like kind of they use the brand cows, if it would have had a horse on it, because the cabinets turn out like a light leather. That's how beautiful they turned out. I would have branded a horse right in the center of the doors. But it was beautiful. Yeah, that's what I say. Is Jason a bot? I don't know. But hold on. I don't like when somebody comes in with join the chat in the stream. What the hell does that mean? That looks like a bot to me. She's like telling them off. Hey, Melissa. I got to see Melissa live. It was so fun. She's got good people in her stream too. Oh my goodness. CDC troubles in here. We got trouble in the house. Trouble in the house. Thank you, Metro. I'm so happy your girlfriend is doing better. That is so awesome. Yeah, it stinks going through life when you're dating, huh? And people get sick and you can't see each other. Here, Jen. It's okay. I got him. I was like, what? When I looked at the stream, that was weird. Never seen that one before. It's craziness. Craziness. Yeah, YouTube has been going through a lot here lately. Somebody told me, you're welcome. Somebody told me that I was listening to these guys on a live stream, and there's a streamer that's up in numbers like higher that's on Twitter and contacts YouTube. And they have been robbing people of their hours. Not saying that they haven't had glitches all along. They took 1,000 hours away from him. I'd be furious. Well, I guess he put a post up on Twitter and it made them mad. They were asking him to take it down. He says, no, I'm not taking it down because it's the truth. I'm tired of you people robbing me. So, and I have heard a few people say to me that their hours were knocked. They were keeping track and they're taking hours away. So I don't know what's going on since Google bought out YouTube. I don't know. But I know there's been a lot of big changes the past couple months. I know since I've been on here since 2017, I never see when somebody joins my channel under Tammy's Passions unless they tell me, like if you're set to private, I'm not going to know you're there. So I see them in my subscriber list, but I noticed on my new channel, my Crafty Styles, if somebody subscribes to my channel that, with their things open, of course, I get a pop-up. It'll say, like, say Metro just joined it. It'll say Metro Sonic just joined your channel. Like I get the, notifications of that, where on this channel, I don't. It's weird. It's like they started something new. I don't know. But the newer channels are different. Some people do Metro, some people don't. I have some people who have gotten paid and they did not get their watch hours back. So like I said, it's been glitchy since I've started, but this is the thing though, what people don't, got to really understand. Everything on the web, I don't care what it is, code, everything is man created. And because it's human created, it's going to have errors because we err. That's just a fact. So some of that stuff happens. And I've noticed codes that when they used to bring up, like brand new messengers for Yahoo and, all the different things that they have out there that people can talk on or text back and forth. Even Facebook, it's happened. Text disappears. Stuff like that. They just don't give them CDC. Ask the bigger YouTubers. They'll tell you. They're the ones that see it. I don't pay attention to my watch time hours anywhere. I never did pay attention to them. But anyways, there are people that it has happened to, though. Anyways, yes, they hate them. They're monsters. But stuff like that happens. Like we used to get messengers that were updated, and I know one time on Facebook, this is crazy. A friend of mine texted my daughter, and she didn't get it till a year later. My daughter said, I was in Facebook Messenger, and this message popped up, and it said from a year ago. She's like, what? How can a message be delayed for a year? But it happens. And I remember on Yahoo, everything would come out beta. I hated doing beta. Like every time they first update something, I like to wait a little bit till they get the kinks worked out of it. And then it usually works. But it takes time. Yeah, it was a year later. My daughter about died. She showed me. She's, look at this message. Mom popped up a year later. It's crazy. CDC, there are people that, yes, they do make a living on YouTube. Believe it or not, they do. And there are some people that do very well too. Very, very well. And then there's some people that use YouTube as a tool to make a living through YouTube, and they do even better. Because I know a person for a fact that's in the millions that does awesome on YouTube. But they also have a product line. So it just depends. Like I said, I don't, CDC accused me of taking YouTube seriously. Well, it depends on what you're here for and who takes what seriously. Because I do know that there's a couple people that have left their day jobs because they do make enough money through YouTube. So it's no laughing matter when it's the facts. Some people can and some people don't. But the whole baseline is, what are you here for? When I created this channel, and I have always said it from the beginning, it was never about money. My thing was, when I built my bookstore, I didn't have advertising, because when you looked around for advertising, it's very expensive. Even to put a mailer in the paper, it cost. My mom and I were invited to a local news station for commercial purposes. Do you know how much a commercial costs? It's outrageous. I couldn't afford a commercial. So I decided to use YouTube as a tool to get the word out, and it worked. So it all depends on why you're here. I didn't know that the common user could even have YouTube channel. I was online before YouTube was even created. YouTube was launched February 14th, 2005 as a tune-in and hookup website, and then it turned into YouTube because the dating site didn't work. You can Google this information. So I always thought that it was, every time I personally use YouTube, it was for music or a do-it-yourself. And a lot of people tell me that. If they're looking for, how to unclog a sink or fix the dishwasher or something, that's what they use it for. I always thought that YouTube was for those famous people, like people that had a band that was famous, like Def Leppard, or you had to have a network TV show. That's just what my thought process was. I didn't know the common person could have a channel, period. So when I found out about it, it was through Facebook. There was a guy I was talking to on business, and I said, how would I get my store recognized? And he said, why don't you use YouTube? And I go, what do you mean use YouTube? I can't use YouTube. I don't have, I'm not famous or own, anything like that. And he says, no, anybody can have a YouTube channel now. Now, I don't know when that started, that the common user could have a YouTube channel. I don't know when that started. But I was just told it could be used as a tool for advertising. I didn't know anything about AdSense or people getting paid through ads. I didn't know any of that stuff when I started YouTube. I was a Yahoo chatter. If I wasn't such into Yahoo, I probably could have had a YouTube channel when it first launched for common people. But I didn't know anything about it because I only used it for music mostly. But all I know is everybody's here for different reasons. I'm not on StreamYard, Jen. I use Restream. I don't like StreamYard because their customer service sucks. The difference between StreamYard and Restream is this: you can do the same thing on both. The only bad thing is, after you use so many hours a month, StreamYard will send you an email bugging you to pay because you've used up your hours. Restream is unlimited free. The only time that you can choose to pay for Restream, because they do have plans like StreamYard, but they don't bug you about you have unlimited hours. There's no such thing as they'll cut you off. If you want extra features, you can pay for Restream. Like if I want to, be live here and on Facebook, then I could pay. I think they're starting is like $16 and something a month. And then, I can have unlimited to here and Facebook, but it doesn't matter because I only do YouTube for now. I miss Yahoo chat rooms too. I started on I started on the web when I was in 2001. But I'm just saying that, when you come on here, even if it's for monetization, you have to come on here with the realization that you've got to work like a real job, like you're starting a business. You got to put the time, the hours, and everything into it. And the reality is some people are going to make it and some just aren't. And that's just the reality. Because, look at how many people try to mock what's trending. And they don't realize that you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't follow what's trending, because why a person trends on here to me is because it's an original. It's the first time a person decided to do something and they made it trend. But then when you get like 50,000 people doing the same damn thing, it kind of wears it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be something original. And I think that some people can put twists on things. Like, I've been part of the makeup community, and there are some people that they make it fun. And I think a lot of people like that aspect. And then there's drama, of course. And then there's that aspect, because you have people drawn to negativity and you have people drawn to positivity. And it kills me when I hear people on YouTube saying, "Oh, I avoid the drama." It can't be avoided. It's how you handle it. Drama's in the dictionary for a reason. It exists, whether we like it or not. It's just how we deal with it. Because there are drama channels that are actually monetized too in the millions. So it just depends on what you decide to pick as your, but this is Tammy's philosophy, okay? This is just my philosophy. I'm gonna lay it on the line for all you YouTubers out there, whether you like my advice or not. Think about this for a second. A lot of people have their professional YouTube set up like a show. It's like watching TV. It's like a show. That's why it's YouTube. Think about this for a second, though. How many seasons of Criminal Minds was there? 15. How many seasons were of how many shows that burn out? You might have 8 seasons. You might have 3 seasons. You might have 10 seasons. 15 is pretty darn good. In order to capture that type of attention, you better be on your top notch. You better be constantly at it, constantly putting out there and surprising people. And you know how hard that is to do? That's like when you watch shows like The Walking Dead and things. There's like different writers, different opinions, all these people to keep these shows alive. When you're on YouTube, what I find is a lot of people want to go to sleep, because it's hard to bring that kind of content every single time you come live. People could come on here and say, "I'm sick of her painting. That's all she does." And I'm okay with that, because it's fun for me. But that doesn't mean it's going to be fun for everybody else. You know what I mean? It's too hard to keep up with that. That's why it's hard to get paid on YouTube. Because it's hard to find that type of following that you actually entertain. And I think that's why some people have the knack of entertainment and some people don't. Just like some people are janitors and some people are bank owners and some people scrub floors for a living. Every job matters, but not everybody can do the jobs. So, that's why some people are famous on YouTube and some people will never get there. It's just a given, because you don't know. And it's not to beat down anybody. It's just, that's life. CDC, you should work hard for yourself because you want to. I watched this girl one time on Love is Blind. There was a show out there, Love is Blind. I can't remember what season she was from, but anyways, she made the comment that really made me think. It's the way she put it. She's lived in her car and everything else because she doesn't have no kids and she's not married. She says, How did she word that? I work to live. I don't live to work. And I'm thinking, really? Are there people out there really with that attitude that you will live in your car and work only enough to make it by, but you don't care enough to work to improve your life? I found that interesting. Found that very interesting. Some people, I guess, are like that. I guess it's all in how you're raised too. I wasn't raised to work because I had somebody to come home to. My dad raised me to work because it's just what you did to survive and to make a living and to make a life for yourself. It had nothing to do with a mate. I've lived on my own with a mate and without. And all I can say is I did the best both ways. So it doesn't really matter. I give the best of me. And it has nothing to do with being married or not. Okay. So now that I've got the gesso down and it's dry, I'm going to try to do some red. Metro. Some men are lost causes. Some men cannot handle a woman being around because they always have to be right and control everything. I know somebody like that. He'll never have a woman because he's too self-centered. And I don't mean to be ignorant, but sometimes when you're raised in a small town, me and Sandy have had this talk. Some people have small town thinking. And when they get like that, they never grow. They just stay stagnant. And no offense, but this guy will never be happy because all he does is bitch about women all the time. Because they don't listen to him and they don't do this for me and they don't do that for me. So that's why I kick him out. And I'm like, and that's why you're single. Because when you're in a relationship, it goes both ways, not your way. There's always a give and take. It's never all your way. You have to sacrifice. And if you can't learn how to sacrifice, you're never going to survive in a relationship. And that's the bottom line. I've met all kinds of people in my life, and sometimes they crack me up with the way they act. Okay, so we got gesso down. And I am going to use this red over it and see how this turns out over top of gesso. This is a wet wipe. This is so cool. I am loving this. So this mixed meat is not only going to be filled with paint, it's going to be filled with some other coolness. This is my distress ink pad. Oh, look at that. Look at how that's turning out. Can you guys see that? It's like a two-tone red on gesso. This is freaking cool. I love experimenting. This is so awesome. Somebody was talking about Saint Michael today. I said, my Michael ain't no saint. I was talking about my husband. I always get picked on him. I have had so many people ask me. I had an aunt and uncle live. They were married their whole lives and never got divorced. My parents had just hit their 60th wedding anniversary. I'll be hitting 30-something. People ask me all the time what the secret is. I said, don't smother each other. In this day and age, there's a lot, and I have seen it. There is a lot. I'm not saying everybody, but there is a lot who suffocate. And my favorite song growing up, if you listen to the lyrics, hold on loosely and don't let go, because if you cling too tightly, you'll lose control. That's the problem with a lot of relationships, is that some people get too clingy and then they don't make it. And just like my great aunt, is the best advice ever. She was one of the longest people married in my family, and this is what her advice is to everybody. You have to find time to do things together, whether it's your anniversary or special dates, but you can't be stuck up each other's asses. You also have to find things to do alone, apart. Because if you're together all the time, smothering each other, you will burn out. If you constantly try to control the other person and make them do everything just that you want to do, you will not last. It's the people that have things not in common, but a lot in common, so that you have things you can share. And I love her advice because it's the truth. There's no secret. And I love how a lot of people say, you know, you have Mars and Venus books out and all this kind of stuff, where they say men and women are so different. No, we're not. We're really not that different. People just want to be appreciated for who they are, loved for who they are, and make the best out of life. And if a person doesn't want that, then I don't know what to tell you. But she gave me the best advice ever. And I love it when I get challenged. And believe me, I have been challenged by some men, because, you know, we do have some men run world around us. They think they run the world. Some guy told me, oh, your way of thinking is blah, blah, blah. And I said, and that's why I've been married almost 35 years and you can't keep a girlfriend. Go for it. Go for it. Because actions speak louder than words, dude. And that's what I told him. And he didn't like what I have to say. So now we're not friends anymore. Because we used to be friends. And now we're not. Because he didn't like my opinion. It's like, oh, well. Life sucks to be you. And he's still single. So that says a lot. Oh, this is cool too. This almost gives off like a dirt brown windstorm. Woo! This is so cool. But then don't be fooled either, because there's sometimes, you know, you could be dating somebody and then you have all the stuff in between too. Like you could be dating somebody and they present themselves somebody that they're not. You know, you have that too. And sometimes it takes time to see that. And then you have to deal with all that crap too. So it's just a matter of finding the right one. And it's not always going to be peachy keen. You know, they have worse in the vows for a reason too. It's called better or worse, because sometimes you get both. And like I said, it's all how you deal with it, just like how you deal with drama. Okay, I'm not going to lecture no more on relationships. I'm just telling you the facts of life. Sometimes I sit though, and there was something I was thinking about real deep here yesterday. And I was talking to my sassy Sandy. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, we talked about this too, is that each sections of your life, you sit and think about things. Like when you're 16, you're thinking about life, where you're headed, what you're doing. Then, and I'm not, this is just any particular age. This is just off the top of my head. Then when you're like 30, you reflect upon your life to where you are. Like it's like you hit like your teens, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s. and so forth. And I love it because I have one of my, both of my daughters are in their 30s. My other one, she's going to be 40 in August next year. So I have somebody in the 30s, somebody in their 70s, and I'm taking advice, like listening to both sides. And it's interesting because if you could ask yourself, like when you get to your 50s, what would I say to my younger self? Would you really change anything? Like, we have a path that we all have, and it's a learning process the whole way. And we're going to make mistakes. But, like some people will say, oh, I wished I would have never got pregnant to this person because maybe it was out of wedlock or maybe they weren't ready or whatever. But after having that child, would you really change it? After having that child and the grandkids that they bring with it, would you really change that mistake? Because if you did, you're erasing a whole person and your grandkids. You know what I mean? So to me, even when I was a kid, like I was the neighborhood kid that always loved to sit with the elderly people and listen to their stories because I feel like they were my future. Listening to them tell me where I was at, what their experiences have been in life is very enlightening to listen to. And my mom used to tell me when I was 18, she says, you're 18 going on 40, because I was always more mature mind-wise than a lot of people my age. That's probably why I didn't date anybody in high school. Like I didn't date anybody my age. I always like listening to people older than me. And I think that's why, is because of that reason. It's like they've already been through part of the walk, so why not listen? And I hate to see an elderly person disrespected. It drives me crazy when I see a younger person talk mean to their grandmother or grandfather because, dudes, they're your path. You got to listen to these people, whether they have made mistakes or not, because nobody's perfect, but listening to their stories is what helped me be a better person along my way in my path as far as I'm concerned. Do I still make mistakes? Oh, hell yeah. But I think they're not as bad as they could have been because of having that guidance. And I think that guidance is pretty damn amazing. But that's just how I feel. I always ask people, like when I used to do skilled living and take care of elderly people, that's the first thing I would ask them when they were married. So, how did you meet your mate? And I have some of the most amazing stories. I should write into some Chicken Soup for the Soul on some of them because they're pretty incredible. So, my aunt, my great aunt I was telling you about, I'll share her story with you because she's my family, my great aunt Alice. She would love me for this. Okay, think about this. In this day and age, what would cross your mind? And I know, Jen, you could give a real good answer to this. What would cross your mind if a guy said to you, if you just don't marry me, I'll just die? I think this is hysterically funny. She said, back then you're talking no internet, no dating sites, nothing. She was sitting on her porch reading a book because that's what they did in the old days. And a lot of people would be outside walking around, taking walks and things. And my uncle and her met. And he used to come and meet her on her porch and take her for walks. They used to go walking together. That was like dating back then. And they got to know one another. So I don't know if they met in school, exactly where they met, but I know that was their dates. And he just basically told her one day, if you don't marry me, I'll just die. If a man told me that, I'd be like, do you need me to load the gun? I mean, no offense. But we're not used to that kind of talk in today's age. We're not used to somebody saying that to us because that's not how we were raised in our era. But in her era, that meant something completely different. It didn't mean that he was actually going to technically go commit suicide. That was just their way of talking back then. And she said yes. And they've been happy ever since. But she says, that's what he said to me. And she says, but you kids nowadays would never understand that top. And it was just so stinking cute. I loved her stories. She was awesome. I know. I loved it. Me too, CDC. It's just, I can't imagine somebody saying that to me. If guy ever said that to me, I would be like, what? But I love these kind of conversations because I think they're cute. I have a joke with my husband, Metro. He says, when he makes me angry, I tell him, just because I whistled at your ass in high school and thought you had a cute butt didn't mean you had to be all ass. That's one of my favorite lines to use at him. And the other one is, he used to tease people because, you know, you guys see my shopping hauls and stuff and how people tease me about shopping. He'll sit there and say, you just married me for my assets. I said, well, your asset pretty cute in high school. He's like, oh, you think you're funny? But what people don't realize, when I met my husband, we never had jobs. We were 15 and 16 years old at the time. Like, our only jobs were like babysitting people. And then I think he took a summer, but we didn't have jobs when we met. So he can never accuse me of marrying for his money because he didn't have any. I think that's so funny. And sometimes I think that's why when people get famous, they stay so loyal to the people that they had as friends before they became famous because they didn't have money when they met them. So to them, they're just still the same person. But it's harder after you get money to make friends because you don't know if people are using you or not. And okay, another story I'll share with you guys. There was a place I used to work a long time ago. And two of my favorite coworkers that we all, you know how like when you go into a place and there's just some people that you just draw into your type of persona. And even though there was a bunch of us working, there was three of us that became really close friends. It was me and a guy named Bill and a female named Linda. And we used to talk about stuff all the time. And Bill told us a story about three of his friends he had from high school. He used to own a big business at one point, Bill did. And when his dad passed away, this is what I mean about reflection on your life. He put so much time building these businesses that, Metro, you got to stay for this. Hold on. He put so much time in building these businesses, he didn't have much time for nothing else. Like, he didn't spend as much time with his family as he should have. So as time went on, he reflected on that. When his dad passed away, he wanted to be there more for his kids and his wife and stuff. So he ended up giving up his chain of businesses and going into a way lower paying a business. Don't leave yet, Metro. So then there's three guys, him and two other friends, and they were best friends in high school. One made it to be rich. One got married, lived paycheck to paycheck. And then he reflected on his life after he said, I wasn't as rich as my rich friend, but I wasn't as poor as my poor friend. I was right in the middle. He says, but every time we get together, it amazes me that the rich guy was always bickering with my friend. He says, I couldn't put my finger on at first why he would pick at him all the time, like nitpicking him. He says, there's one thing of joking, but this guy would literally nitpick on him for no reason. And he said, and I come to realize the rich guy was always dating these bimbo looking blondes that had boob jobs and everything else, but he was never happy. He could never find the right woman. He was rich and he had women on his arms, but they weren't real to him. They didn't care about him. Where my friend that was married for years that lived paycheck to paycheck, he had the love of his life. Him and his wife had a great relationship. They had kids and everything. That's why he nitpicked on him all the time, because he was jealous of the one thing he will never have. And he says, and it's sad because all the money in the world does not buy you what you think it will. He said, always remember that. He says, because I've seen it and it's interesting to watch. So it's true. It is true. And that to me was another life lesson. And I'm glad he shared that story because I found that very interesting. So there's another reason. You got to care about people for people. But I pick on my husband all the time. He's used to it. But it's never been about money. He's just funny. When he says stuff like that, he cracks me up. But I wanted to share the story before you left. And I'm sure people in here could share stories too of things they've seen and heard, I think everything we learn in life is a lesson. But anyways, I hope you have a good one, Metro, if you're still in here. But anytime somebody wants to share a story with me, you just go for it because I like hearing stories. I think stories are cool. Okay. So we get to play with some distressed backgrounds. I think this one I'm going to play with some watercolors. I played with acrylic in the first half of the book. Watercolors look really pretty on gesso, in my opinion. I think they do. I've been trying to catch up on some watch time on some channels I haven't had a chance to get to, and I try to craft and watch some videos at the same time. The only types of videos I could get away with that with, though, are videos I don't have to watch with my eyeballs. And that's really hard for me to watch crafting videos when I'm crafting because I want to craft with them, like do stuff that they're doing, which is really fun, and put my own twist on things. But like last night, I listened to a couple of gamers because I can listen and craft. But when it's got to have my full attention, sometimes it's rough. Over here smacking my arm. It's holding my camera. Sorry. But I am trying to catch up because I can't believe YouTube took all my comments away since 2017. I got to go re-catch up. But my life philosophy is just do the best you can in life and, be kind to people that are kind to you. The ones that aren't, kick them to the curb, flick them like a piece of lint, make them go away. And just live your best life. That's always been my advice to people. That's what I try to do. I try to go out in public, and when I go to restaurants, I try to thank people and stuff for their customer service and things like that and show some appreciation. I was in a auction live stream one night, and oh my God, these people were so rude. They're like, well, how come you're doing this and you're not doing, and it's like, you know what? There's a word out there called having a little bit of patience. especially when it's fast-paced. I always take my time on stuff. That's why when I have people that ask me to create a custom journal, don't expect it fast because you're not going to get it. I like taking my time, and I try to give it a little bit of a time frame of how long it's going to take, because it all depends on how long it takes me to get the pieces. But I talk to the person as I'm creating the journals to let them know how far along it is and when it's almost done. That way they have at least an idea. But I don't pump out stuff real fast. I'm slow. Okay, so we'll let this dry. Put this over here. I'm going to grab my fun stuff. Oh, I forgot I had this over here. I'm going to have to use that pretty soon. Okay. Get my watercolors. The only thing that I can give to my YouTube channel is myself. And that's about it. My personality, my goofiness. The people either like me or they don't. This is, see how messy that is? Ooh, that is so messy. Let's go in with my favorite color first, of course. I love this shade of blue. It's pretty. Some more water in this. Ooh. I have a sweater that I really love, but every time I wear it down here, I catch the arm of it on my arm that holds my camera and it rips it. Lost a sweater like that once because of that friggin' arm. Drives me crazy. Then I had to go on the web and find one that matched it, and I rebought it. Now I'm ripping it again. So we're going to do a mixture of colors. This is pretty. It's almost like a dark mauve. Pretty. I got to start putting stuff in my Etsy store here too pretty soon. I need to start making a little bit of money. Pay off some of my stuff. I'm starting to try to build up some stuff to put in my crafty styles on Etsy. But I have nothing in my Etsy stores. I have a couple people promoting my stores, but there's nothing in them right now. I got to get off my tushy. Get some listings done. Change out the colors. Hey, Ma! You're hanging out with the spider crew. There's moss. Oh, me too. It makes it hard. And you know what kills me is like, I don't know if you guys been experiencing this, if this is a bug in YouTube lately, but I try to go back to my lives and look who's been in them and then go to their channels and go watch their videos, and YouTube's not letting me see my lives. And my phone's been acting up too. I don't know what's going on with our phones. Me and my husband were talking about this. It's happened to both of our phones. We have the same brand. But every time I go to comment on someone's video and I pull up the comments, my keyboard's it's stuck. It won't let me type anything. It's like, what the hell? Like, I can go to Google and stuff like that and type and I'm fine. It's only on the comments in YouTube. I'm like sitting there pounding the freaking button until a letter pops up, because the comment will pop up and then the cursor blinks. But when I go to type, the letters won't come out. I'm like, what the hell? And then my keyboard's stuck. But it only happens on YouTube. And he said it's been happening to his phone too. So I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't get it. What the heck is this? No clue what that came off of. Okay, that was weird. But it's been like crazy stuff has been happening. And in the live stream, like I said, I go back. Now I don't know who to see unless I listen to, if I shout out the names of the people that's been in here. That's the only way I know who to go visit. But I haven't seen, I can't pull up my lives for nothing when they're over. It won't show me the chat part. My lives are there. It just won't show me the stream where everybody's texting. It's so weird. I still can't see mine. Or anybody else's. And then like on the Whatnot app, they hate Android phones for some reason because I have an Android. Seriously, I can't see pre-bids. I mod for somebody there. And I told her when Whatnot first came out, it would say pre-bid. Then it comes out as the pre-bids were current bid. And now all I see is zeros. It's like they'll have their auction listing and it'll have like, say, starting at $5, starting at $8. And that means nobody's bid on them yet. But if they say zero, then I know it's a bid and there's nothing there. It's so weird. So I reported it to Whatnot. I sent them a report and they sent an email back, and I was talking to some of the people that sell there because, you know, they're more in the know as sellers. And they said for some reason Whatnot hates Android phones. And another thing you can't do either is, even though PayPal is who does the invoices there, if you type the word PayPal in a Whatnot live, it gets muted. That means nobody can see it but the moderators. I go, why would they do that? I don't know. You type in anything. Like if you type in the word boobs, BOOBS, or balls, BALLS, you can't even say Christmas balls or it mutes you. I always go in there in the lives and we laugh so hard because we look for words that Whatnot mutes, and we type them on purpose just so we get muted. And the mods will start laughing because they're the only ones that can see it. It's funny. Their censorship over there is crazy. They'll be sitting there going, Tammy, you're so bad. Because I'll type in muted words. I go, I think it's hysterical. I mean, what if you're not even talking about a woman's anatomy? What if you're just saying somebody's a boob? You get muted. I think it's so funny. We used to sit back on MSN, and I remember this guy, he started laughing at me. He was from the UK. He said, Tammy, you're a riot. Because me and this girl used to sit there and we would say, I'd say something like, we'd have a chat going, and like some spoiled brat or something would come in there with an attitude. And I would come out. I said, "What's the beginning of a link?" I said, "What are you supposed to put in front of the www?" I can't remember. And they would put HTTP dot dot slash slash, and it'd go kerplunk. we knew everything that you could type that a person would get kicked out of MSN chat. So we used to ask people what the words were so they would type them. And then they would go kerplunk. This guy from the UK says, "Oh my God, you two are terrible." Because we would laugh. We would sit and laugh so hard. Because all it would do was remove them from the chat. They would have to come back in again. But we would laugh so freaking hard because I said, "What's the other name for, your backside?" I said, "What do they call it?" And in the UK, somebody said arse, kerplunk. You couldn't type arse, the word butt with 2 T's. We knew what was prohibited. We used to do that stuff all the time. Oh my God. I was awful as a chatter. We were so freaking naughty. Oh my God, you're so funny, Ma. My one granddaughter, Layla, she's so headstrong. I love her. She's my journaler, and she's real. Oh, she's got a sassy look already. My daughter, we're sitting at the table crafting. I gotta share the story about my granddaughter because it's so funny. We're at the table crafting, and her mom was telling her stuff, and she's puckering her lips together and squinting her eyes, giving that sassy look. My daughter looked at me. She says, "You see this? Do you see how Layla's looking at me, Mom?" And I said, "Yeah, she's giving you the sassy look." And I'm sitting there laughing at her. We were drawing and coloring Halloween pictures. I posted them on Facebook, the pictures that we colored together. But oh my gosh, please, it was so stinking funny. And I told her, I said, "Layla, this is what I told her as grandmotherly advice." They all call me Nana. I said, "Listen, you got a sassy look, and that sassy look is as cute as heck." I said, "But you don't use that on your mother." I said, "You save it for the boys." You should have seen my daughter's face and her husband. I said, "That's the look you give a boy when he hits on you. You turn that face around and you pucker up, give him them eyes, and like, really?" And then you walk away. Oh my God, my daughter and them were laughing. I love her sassy attitude. I think she's hysterical. Oh my gosh, she cracks me up. She's so stinking adorable. She's one of the twins. And then the other one, she's so cute too, Olivia. She's a little people pleaser. She's so stinking cute. I just don't think anybody's going to mess too much with Layla. Oh, and I guess her and my mom butt heads because my mom don't know how to handle Layla because she's so sassy. And I said, "That's because my mom's sassy too, two of a kind." I think it's hysterical. I love their personalities. I think all their personalities are cute. But Livia is my left-hander. She takes after me. And she looks like her mom. The twins aren't identical. One looks like mom, one looks like their dad. Livia loves blue. She's left-handed and she's the horse lover. Layla, she's into unicorns, which is something I never liked. I'm not a unicorn person. Makes me so mad when people call unicorns horses. I'm like, no, they are not the same. One's a mythical creature and the other isn't. But anyways, I like Pegasus though. I do like Pegasus. But I don't know. I just never could get into unicorns. But Layla likes the unicorn stuff. And Livia likes the horse stuff. But she's more. Livia is ahead of her time. She's like one of those honor kids. Like, she's not like cartoons. She went through the phase and then out. She's more like she likes real shows. Where Layla's the opposite. She likes everything. But she's my journaler. Layla's going to be my journaler. She loves journals. You should have seen me and her out when we went thrifting and yard sailing. I picked out a journal for her that had activities in it. It had like a page, and it would tell you what to do with it. And she loves it. So it's going to be fun this Christmas because I got some plans of things that I want to do with them. But I love it that they all have their own person. And Kylie, oh my gosh. You ever see what's it called? Land Before Time cartoon. Land of the Lost was something I used to watch as a kid with Sleestaks and stuff like that. But Land Before Time, it was the cartoon video with dinosaurs, and it had Ducky. Oh my gosh. Kylie's voice sounds just like Ducky. Every time I hear her talk, I think of Ducky. She's got like this raspy, cute little voice for her age. And I asked her, I said, what are you going to be when you grow up, Kylie? She goes, I'm going to be a baby doctor. She doesn't say a pediatrician. She's going to be a baby doctor. I'm going to be a mom and a baby doctor, she tells me. And she dressed up one year for Halloween as a doctor with a stethoscope around her neck. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. But I love her voice when she talks. She goes, what's a ducky? When I told her that, I said, you got to watch the cartoon. I said, have mommy have you watch it. I said, it's cute. I said, you remind me of Ducky. But they tell me stories all the time. And I think it's funny. They're at that age where they're tattletaling. Well, mom and dad were just arguing over something that just didn't mean anything. You should hear these kids. And I'm just laughing. And Jade's going, why are you telling on us? Like, she's listening to you little tattletales. I said, that's okay. I said, you know why that happens, though? And they're like, what? And I said, because sometimes when you get into a relationship, whether it's your kids or your husband, you just have different types of personalities. And sometimes they clash because you just don't always agree on things. I try to be like this reasonable grandmother. They just look at me like, okay. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. And I told him, I said, and that's when you got to learn how to negotiate. And then they're like, what does negotiate mean? I said, it's the word of the day, negotiate. So I told Jay, that's how you teach them their vocabulary. Make them look up the definitions. And that's how they're learned. Oh my gosh, they're so funny. To be a kid again. No cares in the world. You don't worry about what people are putting in the refrigerator and on the table and paying bills, just to have that moment back. Just carefree, run through the yard, not worrying about bills and your bare feet, not thinking about nails going up your foot. just to be a free kid. Just a crystal ball for a day, that would be my wish. Let me be a kid for a day with no cares, no worries. Run around and be goofy like I used to be as a kid before I worried about all the adulting. Remember the show Fantasy Island? Where you could go back in time and do stuff. Oh, it'd be so awesome. But then I would have a hard time choosing. You know, like if you could go back and see one person that's no longer here with us, who would I see? I couldn't make that choice. I have a few choices. I like to have a day with my cousin. I'd like to have a day with my grandmother. I have too many people that I've lost that I would want to go see for a day. That'd be a hard choice. Could be cool if you could. Aww. Sweet ages, sweet, sweet ages. I have 2 grandsons in their teens now, and it's like, oh my goodness. They've grown so fast. Aw, my parents are still here. But I had a grandmother that I really, really was attached to when I was younger. I used to go stay with her all the time. But I also had a cousin that was my best friend. And I lost him at such a young age. We were the same age. And he was in his early 20s when I lost him. And it was hell, to say the least. He died in a fire of smoke inhalation. And it was really shocking. I definitely wasn't ready for that one. He was my best friend. My mom and his dad were brother and sister. And me and him were really close growing up. His dad owned a farm, and that's where we used to go and spend all of our 4th of Julys. Oh my gosh, my childhood was so much fun in those days. We would sit in a barn loft with a bunch of us. It'd be a bunch of us cousins and some of the neighborhood kids that lived near them that they were like family. And we would sit on hay bales and tell ghost stories. It was so much fun. Throwing open the top doors of the barn, sitting there on a full moon night, just telling ghost stories. It was fun. Then later we always had covered dish, and we'd have a great big picnic with the families, the aunts and uncles and stuff. And then we would have firecrackers and stuff, and they had a hay ride. It was just so much fun. That was probably one of my favorite childhood memories of all, was going there on the 4th. And my cousin Mel, his sister, she owned horses, and we would go horseback riding. And it was just wonderful. Wonderful days for sure. This is my little patchwork quilt. Page. This is, like I said, I really like the look of just watercolors over gesso. I think it's really pretty. East Dad! What are you up to, stranger? I was looking for your channel last night on my Crafty Styles. I had to make sure I come and visit you. I watched Vaughn last night. I always tell people when they come in here that are gamers, you got to hit up Vaughn D, East Dad, and Vin for the win. This is my top 3 gamers that I go visit. That turned out pretty. See how pretty watercolors looks over gesso? I really like that look. It's cool. Very, very cool. See, I'm always shouting you guys out. I just do it by my big mouth. Oh, that's sad, Ma's Place. It's hard when you lose them young. You know, it is. It is so rough for sure. So have you been a good boy, East? Let's see. I haven't used this yet either. I'm breaking into some of my distress inks. This is called Peacock. Thank you, East. You're appreciated too. I like it, my gamer friends. You guys are funny. Especially when you guys are talking when you're gaming. I was laughing so hard at some of the conversations that you gamers have. Oh my gosh, they were talking one night about something crazy. I just sit and laugh. I'll be crafting along just listening to you guys rattle off when you're gaming and jibber jabbing. I find you guys amusing, especially late at night, you know? You get the gamers on late at night. Oh my gosh, they are so funny. That's true. That's true, East. Oh my goodness, that's too funny. I've been following East Dad for many, many years since I first came on YouTube. He was like one of my first channels I was following. And then my Crafty Styles is me too, so you remember that it's me. I think I was picking on him in his stream one day under my new channel. He didn't know it was me. And I was like, really? You're not going to say hi? He's like, these people getting bent over me not saying hi because he was busy. I was picking on him. He didn't realize who it was. You know that's funny because we used to do that in Yahoo chat too. We would change, like, I had like 500 IDs over there. I had holiday names, crazy stuff. And I remember sneaking up on people and they would be like, who is this person messing with me? And, you know, on YouTube, you got to watch because people block too easy. But over there, there was this guy from the UK. It would go by Owens. He would be trying to teach somebody something, and I would come up in a holiday ID, like Cupid's Cutie. I would make crazy IDs, and I would be like, are you guys really listening to him? Is he really giving you good advice? I would say stuff like this in text, and he would be like, who is that? And I'd be like, you know who it is. You just don't know it's me. And he was like, he would sit there and then he'd get quiet and he'd start talking again. And I would like, yeah, right. That's what he used to type in chat. He goes, damn it, Tammy. He would end up guessing it was me after so many times, but it was funny. But I only have 2 channels on YouTube. I don't have a bunch of different IDs on here to play stuff like that, but it is fun sneaking up on people. I think it's hysterical. That's what makes chat fun. Is when you can surprise people. I had crazy names over there. I even had Snot Bubble. I made the name Snot.Bubble. Seriously, I have that name on Yahoo. Somebody's like, that is so disgusting. And I said how it came about was somebody was blowing their nose and somebody said something about mucus. I said, no, those are snot bubbles. And then Snot Bubble was born. Could you see somebody coming in here under the name of Snot Bubble? But anyways, I love the IDs in Yahoo chat because they were very creative. And I used to add people just because of their screen names. Like, serious. There was this guy that came in my chat room one day under Tickle My Pickle. Oh my gosh, I was rolling. I was like, Tickle My Pickle, that's so cute. So I told this kid, I said, can I add your ID to my list? And he says, I don't care. And he goes, why do you want to add me? I said, because I think your ID's cute. If you would have looked at my friends list over there, you'd have been like, what the heck kind of people does she hang out with? I had a girl, her name was, oh my God, what was it? UK Twat? I had Twat Waffle, Tickle My Pickle, Bite Me, I'm a Brit. I could name all the people that were on my friends list because their IDs were hysterical. And I was like, gosh, if my mother, I mean, I was of age because I was like in my 30s when I came up, but I was like, if my mother would see my friends list, she'd be like, what kind of people is she talking to? Oh, I know. I love the IDs. I love the IDs. I thought they were cute. Thanks for stopping, East. I've been going down my subscriber list too, trying to catch people that they added me, and I haven't had a chance to visit them. They're probably thinking, who is this person? I had channels that were subscribed to me that I have never heard of. Like I didn't even know who they were. And I feel bad for that because some have been subscribed for a real long time and I had never been to visit them. So I've been trying to take my crafty styles since I'm trying to grow that channel. And I have been trying to visit people because it's a smaller list. I follow so many people on this channel. It's ridiculous. YouTube won't let me add nobody. It keeps telling me I'm following too many people, East. See you later. It says you're following more people than subscribe to your channel. And I'm thinking, really? So I can't subscribe to nobody and entertain these passions. So I've been adding people on my crafty styles. But I did that on Yahoo too. My list got so long on Yahoo, I had to make another ID to start adding people because I had so many people that I followed and followed me back. It was crazy. But I ran a chat room for 6 years over there, Ma. We could have ran into each other. Our chat room was under a family and home, and it was called From All Over Friends and Music. And we used to chat and play music when there was no chatting going on. It was fun. Those were the good days. Take care, East. I loved Yahoo Chat. I thought Yahoo Chat was a blast. I never knew about the user rooms for a really long time. Didn't know they existed. And I remember the first time I found a user room, somebody come in and they said, we're playing Truth or Dare. Do you want to go to the whipped cream room? I'm like, whipped cream room? What are you talking about, whipped cream? I didn't know there was a whipped cream room. And they're like, you never went to the hidden user rooms? I'm like, no. And then when I found them, I was like, oh my word. Those rooms were so funny. They had dungeon rooms. all kinds of crazy rooms. Oh, I know. I miss it. I miss it so much. That's what I mean. The user rooms were the adult rooms. I didn't know they existed. Do you have Pal Talk? A lot of people that left Yahoo went to Pal Talk. Pal Talk's still there. I have an account there, but I need to sign into it before they close it. I haven't been on Pal Talk in a while. I have friends from Yahoo that went there, and I know what rooms they visit, so I pop in every once in a great while to say hello. But I haven't been there in a while. Let's see here. These were yellow. I think I found this because I forgot I had it. I think I'm going to glue this on one of these pages because this needs color. 2 people picked yellow for me to put on here. So I'm going to use this on one of these pages so there's not so much yellow. I'll work with this later. Come on, glue. I cussy cutted this out of the paper. I'm going to leave this on this page. I like adding crazy stuff to my books. Oh my gosh. I remember this guy named Dan. Yeah. When the Yahoo list would get stuck and you could right click and follow them to find what room they were in, because we all hung out in this one regular chat room. One day I went on, the Yahoo list wasn't working, and that was an option to be able to find where your friends were. And yeah, I did that one time too, and kind of ended up in a room I didn't really want to go into. And oh my gosh, I will never forget what one of my friends did to me as a prank. Oh my gosh, it was hysterical. One of my UK, he used to do that to me too when the list was down. He says, Tammy says, I can't get the room list up. He says, do you care if I hit follow on you? And because I'm not in chat, I'm just on Messenger. I fibbed. And I went in a chat room called Big Black Dicks for Chicks. Oh my God, if my family watches this later, this is going to be so funny. I did it on purpose because I knew he was going to follow me. And he came into that room. He says, oh, so you think you're funny? He got up on the microphone, embarrassed the heck out of me. And I'm on my side of the computer laughing my butt off. He's on the microphone. He says, I have a friend in here and she will get on cam and she'll do naked dances for you, because he was so mad I drug him in there. He played back. He says, you got to follow her and add her. I had to close my messenger because I knew I was going to get bombarded with perverts hitting on me. So I had to close my messenger. Yes, I remember those days. And he was ready to choke me because we hung out in I think Romance Room 8. That's where most of us went, even though it was like a friend's room. There were some people there that were singles. That's what he told him. And it was a lie, Dill. Oh my God, it was so hysterical. But that's what he said. He said, she'll do naked cam dances for you because he was ready to use his really, Tammy. He typed it in the room, Ma, as soon as he came in chat. He knew what I did. And I was like, I can't help it. It was funny. Hey, LT. Oh my gosh, that was so hysterical. But we would find rooms like that. And like the day that I tagged Dan, he was in a lesbian chat room. And as soon as he saw my name come in, he says, okay, well, Tammy just busted me. And I was like, really, Dan? We used to do stuff like that to each other all the time, Ma. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And then we would go on room hops, where you would right click and click on to somebody, whatever room they jumped in, you went with them. It was a riot. But yeah, he was ready to kill me. Yeah, E's dad was here and then he left. Oh my God, Ma. No, I never seen a room called that, but that's terrible. Oh my gosh. Yahoo got so bad at the end. I remember what ruined it. Pepsi had sponsorship. It was either Pepsi or Coke. It was one of the name brand pops. They had sponsorship that they paid for Yahoo. And I remember I was gone for a week because I was taking classes. And I remember coming back and I hit Enter Family and Home. And I saw teen sex on cam on the title of a chat room. And I was like, what? And I thought I hit the wrong category. So I backed out and I came back under Family and Home. And it was correct. And what happened was they were making user rooms and teenagers were going in there that were minors doing things they weren't supposed to be doing. And they were told either you close the chat rooms or we're pulling sponsorship. That's what happened. And it ruined the Yahoo chat rooms because there was too much crap going on with minors and things like that. And it was bad. It got real bad in the end. And it's really sad. Because for the people that were innocent on there being good and just having fun, we lost our favorite chat. If somebody would have told me that Yahoo chat rooms were going to shut down, I would have never believed it. Because they were so popular. And everything was free. You know what I mean? Like you could watch free cams and things. But it destroyed it. It destroyed it. It got so bad. It was awful. And that's what I mean. It's like every time they start something good, something bad always has to infiltrate it, And that's what scared me about YouTube there for a while, because when I started seeing the bots come into the live streams on YouTube, talk about deja vu. Did you think deja vu when you started seeing that on YouTube? I felt like it was Yahoo all over again. Like, where the hell are the porn bots coming from? Because we had that problem on Yahoo. But there was a lot of things that destroyed Yahoo chat, but it was so much fun. I had more fun on that platform than I've ever had in my life because we had so much fun. Yeah, me too. It's just like I feel like I lost a bunch of people because when they took the chat rooms away, like everybody scattered. And a lot of people, they don't even do anything. Like they didn't come to YouTube. They didn't go to another chat platform. But some did go to Pal Talk because I hung out in a computer room on there too. And I'm still in touch with a few people, and then a few people in another main chat room I used to hang. I have them on my Facebook. Like, I tried to keep in touch with who I could, but there was a lot of people that drifted away after the chat rooms closed down. It really sucked because I miss a lot of people from there that we used to hang out with all the time. They used to play Truth or Dare over there, Dill. Oh my gosh. These people were so funny. I would come offline. My ribs would be hurting so bad from laughing so hard because of the fun that we used to have. You wouldn't even believe it. We had so much fun over there. And it was all different countries. The chat room I was in, we had Ireland, the UK, across the United States, Canadians, India. I couldn't even tell you. And we were all really close friends. I actually have a box of mail because it was when we kind of all first come online and everybody was getting to know everybody and it was something new. I have a whole pile of cards, Christmas cards and everything from people all over the world. That's how much fun we had. And my friend Kim, she was born in New Zealand, but she was raised in Australia when her parents moved. She came and stayed with me for 10 days. If somebody would have told me when I joined chat that I would have had an Australian person staying in my house, I'd be like, what? Because I've never been out of the United States. So to me, the friendships that we bonded through the internet was so much fun. We had a blast. Me and Kim are still friends. She's funny. Yes, you were blowing up my poor little pumpkins. I left you a message under my crafty styles. I got to go back though. I've been trying to take the time. I have to go clear back to 2017 when I started. And I got to answer my commenters on this channel because YouTube took all my comments away. They took my watch time and comments away from everybody since I started this channel. And they're blocking me from subscribing. I don't know, some kind of glitch and it messed up on this channel. But anyways, my Crafty Styles is the one I've been promoting. So that's the one I'm going to be visiting people under. Yes, I'm Crafty Styles. So that's the name that you got to get used to seeing. It's my Crafty Styles because that's going to be me. Pestering you. I should have snuck up on him and not told him. I could have went over there and started flirting with him and being goofy, and he'd be like, who is this ditz? He probably would have blocked me. Dill. That's what I would have done. You missed my nerdy look. I was on Gemma's stream. Let me pull up her live. Hold on a minute. I got to be on somebody else's panel and it was so much fun. She was hysterical. Gemma invited me up and she showed off the journal that I made her custom. You guys get a chance, you'll have to go check it out. She's got some really good people on her channel too. But anyways, she had me on her live and she was so excited. I've known Gemma as long as I've known East Dad on here, about 4 years. It's been a while. And Gemma's autistic and she teaches stuff to people about over in the UK, like the rules and stuff. But she challenged me to make her an autistic journal. And when you go to Google autistic journals, it's for parents. It's not for the people who have autism. So it was a challenge, let me tell you, trying to figure out what she liked and what she didn't like. Take care, LT, because, you know, like some people with autism, they don't like strings and things like that. So I wanted to make it built for her. She really challenged me, and you should have seen her face. She loves her journal. So she bought the Elvis journal off of me, and she was showing it off on her channel, and she was so stinking cute. She was talking so fast. I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and it was really cute. Because I was trying to explain the journal as she was showing it, but it is what it is. But she was just so excited. It was just too cute not to watch her. She's adorable. I call her Jemmy. She was blowing up my Instagram. I'm waiting for the package to get here. And then when it got there, she said, the lady said, I had sugar. She said, I was bebopping all over the place. She's just a character. Oh my gosh. I love people on YouTube too. They're so funny and cute. I have Instagram. I have a lot of people that I like there too. My freaking account got hacked. The hacker has been having a field day in my freaking account. Still, I told Google, I reported it to Google to take it off their search engine. I said, I keep getting the email saying who's joining it. I said, but a hacker's in it. And I sent an email back to Meta. I said, thanks for telling me who's joining my hacked account so they can get hacked too. That's so nice of you. It's a joke. It's a joke that they don't fix my account. I just want them to delete it. I want them to shut it down. But they don't do it. Well, I was on Instagram a month before I came to YouTube, so I'm old school on Instagram. I like Instagram. It's just different. You know, it has ads like YouTube, but it's not as bad as I'm not YouTube, but it's got ads like Facebook, but it's not as bad as Facebook. I don't know how to explain it, but I met a lot of good people on Instagram who actually followed me over here to YouTube. And when I used to do giveaways for back to school, I had a few Instagram people win, and their children, they would send me pictures of their kids opening the boxes and stuff. And I freaking love that. But I met quite a few wonderful people on Instagram for me to give it up. That's where I met the makeup community. And I'm not talking about people that just put on eyeshadow. I'm talking about the makeup community where they actually make faces up like skeletons and flesh hanging off, like the kind that design makeup besides the makeup community with just eyeshadow. Like there are some pretty interesting people over there on Instagram. They are very talented with their makeup stuff. It's kind of like stuff you see in creepy movies and stuff like that. I mean, they're really good. There was one girl I followed. Oh my gosh, she was so talented. She became real popular over there. And then everything, I don't know. Some people just die away from it because they get involved with other stuff. But she was really good. She would sit in front of a mirror and she had flesh hanging off these great big teeth. And you couldn't even see where her eyes were. Oh, I know. They're so awesome. Ma's Place. They are so artistic. It's unbelievable. So I like the Instagram platform. I've had a couple people trying to talk me into going to another one because YouTube has been so glitchy, and they're like, you should come over here and do your crafts. But I don't know if I want to get involved in another platform. I got too much invested in YouTube right now. Plus, it's hard to leave a platform when you like the people here. You know what I mean? You kind of get attached to people where they hang at, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to go there. But I do love Whatnot. As long as Whatnot stays around the auction site, I will always go there. I freaking love Whatnot. They have live streams, and we goof off over there, and oh, we have so much fun. Today they had 2 auctions back to back of nothing but ephemera in mystery boxes. And they are so talented. First, Candyland, the people I had on my panel live that one Wednesday night, Candy had hers in purses. She had a chest box. Even they are creative in what they put the ephemera in. Hers was so much fun today. Then Penguin Boss, which is Lillian, she was on my channel. She had mystery boxes and cigar boxes today. And they're just loaded with paper items. And I'm definitely a paper crafter. So it was cool. I ended up winning a box on each one today. And they were fun. You can either have the chance of it being a mystery. You can tell them if you want to see it or you don't want to see it. But most of us want to see what we're getting, so we're nibby. So I always have them show my boxes, but it was fun. I enjoy the mystery boxes. I think they're a blast. Especially when you know you're going to get good ones. And Penguin Boss is really good with ephemera. Candy's getting there. She's more like a kitschy person. She likes doing tiny stuff, but she did really good today. But I mod for a couple streams over there. I mod for Penguin Boss and I mod for Love Sunny. And Love Sunny works for the post office, and I really like her too. In the state she's in, she's hysterical. She sells mugs and different things like that. She's really into glassware. And sometimes she's even had like quilted purses. It just depends, but mostly she's glass. And I wanted some new mugs, and she always finds me the most adorable horse mugs. She's hysterical. But I like Sunny. She's a sunny sunshine. So I have my favorite people on different platforms. Yeah, I'll have to catch up on some more videos, but at least you know who I am now, Dill. Take care, Dill. I have a couple places that I like to do the auctions at. And, you know, and I'm picky on like the buyers that I buy off of, but I like there's a couple auction sites I'm signed up to too that's nothing to do with social media type. You just bid by email. And I haven't had no problems with them. Alrighty. I'll let this paper dry. These take forever to fill. There's some new crafty stuff I need to try on my other channel too that I want to make videos of, and I haven't done them yet. How many pages I have left in this book in total? I think I just skipped around. I guess I could do so many and skip around again. I still have a lot left to do in this book. Yeah, I might do so many and then work some more. Welcome back. Let this dry. Get some tubes of paint I need to use up that I haven't used up it. I should. I haven't tried these ones on this yet. These are the Reeves. I think I bought these at Joann's a long time ago. Let's see what colors I have. See what these two look like. I'm going to start using up some of my stuff. I got so much stuff. But I bought these tubes. I do believe these were from Joann's. They're expensive. We don't have like much competition around here for craft stores. So Joann's gets a bit pricey sometimes. And it's not a huge store. It's like medium sized. Yeah, it's called Viridian Hue. This is what it looks like. Probably can't see the. Come on. I don't know what's been wrong with this cam down here lately. I think it's getting old. This used to be my better camera. There it is. Reeves Viridian Hue. But they're so tiny. Like you only get these tiny little tubes. And they're expensive. My favorite paint is these bottles from Walmart. I like the Folk Art, the satin, multi-surface. I like these the best so far that I've tried. I think I'm going to two-tone this page. Yeah, it is a pretty page, though. I mean, a pretty color. Right here. Balance this out. And let's do this color on the other side. It being meshy. Meshy, meshy, meshy. Wow. We have a Hobby Lobby, but I have to really travel to get to it. We used to have a Pat Cantons, and they were supposed to close it and turn it into something else, but somebody said that a Michaels or Hobby Lobby might have been coming down there, but I haven't been back to find out what actually did come in. I don't know. But we have a Hobby Lobby here, and when I go there, I usually make a day of it. It's a ways from where I live. And I always usually have like at least $100 or more of spending because I know that I don't make trips up there that much. So when I do, I try to make sure I have enough with me so I can buy a decent amount. And sometimes I might go into Hobby Lobby and I might not find anything. I look around like, eh. I know when I was starting to build my craft room, you know, there was just so many things I wanted to get started. And now I'm like, I would have to say, if I go into an auction and I seen something that I haven't seen before and I know I'll use it, I try to go for it, depending on the price. But I do have a limit. You know, if it goes to a certain amount, I just quit bidding. I have a limit of what I'll spend and what I want on things. But for the most part, my main shopping right now is just glue and things that I continually use. And because I've been challenged here a lot lately to do customs, which I actually do enjoy doing customs. Right now I'm working on a giveaway still for a girl on Whatnot that won my 6-year anniversary for my this YouTube channel. I'm still working on hers. I'm almost finished with it because I had to wait for some pieces to come in the mail. And then I have a friend that challenged me to, you know, paying customer. I sold a journal that's on What's Her Face's channel. That's what she was going on and on about, the one I made for her, Gemma. And then I have another one that somebody wants to pay me for, and I'll be starting on it next. But I think the paid for ones are challenging because it's stuff I don't have. It's like, even when you think you're building up your craft room, and then it's like somebody will come along the way and be like, making me this, and you're like, oh shit, I don't have nothing in that kind of deal. That's what's challenging to me, because like somebody come to me one time, and one of the other ones I custom made, it was like vintage coral, and it's like, oh shit, I have all this vintage stuff, but I have nothing that's coral. So that in itself was a challenge. And like this, what I'm working on now that she won, a person won camel themed. And I don't have anything. I didn't have anything in camels. So to me, it's really cool because I was trying to figure out in my brain when I was first hit with the camel, like a camel. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I don't, but everybody's got their own preference. You know what I mean? And I had nothing whatsoever in a camel. Well, at least I thought I didn't. And then like last night I was upstairs going through my dies and I saw a camel. I was like, you'd be freaking kidding me. Like I didn't even know that was there because I bought off of some random live sales on YouTube. So that was kind of nice. That popped up out of nowhere. But I find that challenging because it makes me look at other colors and things I don't have. Because I think sometimes as a crafter, when you're building your store, you tend to buy your favorites and then you don't want to part with it because it's your favorites. You know what I mean? So to me, it's customs. And I have another crafter friend who told me a long time ago, she only builds up on certain things, like her glues and things like that. But she says, honestly, Tammy, she says, I don't do any of that. I only, buy stuff because she gets customs too. Now, I don't do commissioned work. I don't have people pay ahead of time. And and you do take that chance that if you make a journal, because to me, I want people to like it. So if they don't, I can do them as giveaways or find another buyer. I've never really had that problem of being stuck with something that somebody doesn't want eventually. So I've been pretty blessed that way. Every journal I've ever made sold. But my prices are different too. Like I don't care what other crafters do here on YouTube. When they come out and say, I had a crafter start on here and she was selling hers just in general. She was from another country and she had a lot of United States customers and she was trying to keep the price or cheaper on her journals because she knew what shipping was. I thought that was very nice of her because she just wanted her work out there. That's how I feel. I want everybody from every walk of life to have one of my journals. And it was frustrating to me at first when I started coming into the crafting community here because I'm like, I wanted a nice journal, but they were out of my reach. You know what I mean? Like I would see a journal and I'd be like, oh my God, and I see the price and go, oh shit. Because I'm not paying over $100 for a journal. I'm just not doing it. And I know that there's people that sell them $300 and $500, and that's fine. If you've got somebody rich that's got that kind of money laying around, good for you. But I have been all walks of life myself. I have been a single mom raising my child and, paycheck to paycheck. I've been in a place where I can afford to do things I can't. I want my work to be in someone's house and appreciated. To me, it's not about the money. So sometimes I find it hard because say you're new and you don't know any better. We know how to thrift. But say like you come into the crafting community on YouTube, and I've noticed this has happened too. They will get taken in by the wrong crafters as far as I'm concerned. And those crafters will take them into auctions where people are selling stuff from the 1800s way overpriced. And I'm not saying that stuff over time isn't valuable, but seriously, if you sit here sometimes on YouTube, and I know you know what I'm talking about, and you'll see somebody selling a book for $35 and you can get it somewhere else for like 15, why would you spend that 35? Because at the end of the day, if you're creating a journal and you're paying $35 for something, that jacks your price up of your journal right there for what you're putting into it. We're not talking about labor here. We're talking about just the items. And there are a few crafters on here that sell their shit way too high for just the ephemera part. Because if you're going to take at the end and you're going to tally up what you spent to put in it, and then not including your labor, that's why it's going into the hundreds like it is. And I'm not doing that to people. I want people to be able to afford my journals even on minimum wage, and you just can't do that when some of these people, that $500 rent, $300 is towards rent or a house payment. I can't do that, and I'm not going to do it. So I honestly do not charge for my time. Most of the time, it's because I am going to enjoy it anyways, whether somebody pays for it or not, because I just enjoy it. So I'm not going to charge somebody by the hour because I just won't do it. And I'm not one of those type of people who slaps 10 journals together and just sits it out there for $50 a piece. I can't do it. I take my time. When I do my journals, it's like picking out the perfect greeting card for a friend or a Mother's Day card for a mother. Sometimes it might even take me 5 months to create one because I like taking my time so that people can say when they hold that up, this is not shit that's slapped together. This girl put her heart and soul into it. And I'm not going to sign something unless it has my heart and soul into it. And that's how I look at crafting. And if somebody comes and tells me, well, you know, your prices are too low. And it has gotten snobby in this community. I have heard another crafter in her stream say in front of everybody, come out and say in a stream, well, if a journal is priced $26 or $25 or less, then it's probably junk. Who the hell gives her the right to say that for everybody else? That's my attitude. You don't tell me the prices to put on my journal. You know what I mean? That's my business. Just like it's a person's business if they want to put 500, but I'm not going to do that to people. I'm not going to tease people with something they can't afford because I just think that's cruelty. But for her to say that just pissed me off. And then, like I said, this other person, she started out a little more reasonable, was she jacked her prices up because people did the same thing to her because her journals were selling. That's why, is because they were jealous. They had theirs high and had to lower the prices on the Etsy platform because I've watched it. They put it out there for this high price that nobody's going to pay. And then you see slash prices. And this girl was selling them cheaper and selling them all. So, you know, sometimes, you know, when you look at the grocery stores more for less, that's how I roll. You're going to get more out of me and you're not going to have to pay that high price because I want people to have a part of me in my house. Just knowing that they would like my creations and they want that means more to me than you could ever pay me. And that's just my philosophy. You know, and I even had a person one time, I asked her, I had made a journal out of fabric and I told her, I said, how much do you want to pay for it? And she said, I'll give you $35. I was fine with that. Sometimes I'll negotiate that way too and let them name their price because I feel that they're going to name what's within their budget. And I can appreciate that. I even do that at my yard sales. Sometimes we didn't price anything last year. Me and my daughter are sitting out there and people are coming in buying stuff. And you know what I tell them? They'll come in and say, how much you want for it? I said, how much you think it's worth? I just want to get rid of the shit. I don't care as far as yard sale stuff. You know what I mean? So they'll name a price. I'm like, okay, that sounds fair. If I don't think it's fair, I wouldn't want somebody coming in for something that might be valued at $5, only offer me 10 cents. Now, I am reasonable, but, because I do have to watch not to be taken for granted. But I'm just saying, it was rude. And I'm like, how are you to speak like that? And what people don't realize is what you say on YouTube influences people. So if you're a newbie and you think this is how it rolls, and then you see somebody sell a really nice journal and you think it's nice, and then it's only twisted, well, that person said it was junk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like watching, like, I don't walk on eggshells, but I don't want to speak for everybody else. I rather just say, some people are this way, some, because that's the way it is. Like, humans are all snowflakes. We're all different. We have all different attitudes and ways of thinking things. But I don't want people to think that I'm dissing the people that are selling them for $500, because I'm not. If a person's very wealthy, I don't know how else to put it, but like, I watched Jeffree Star one time. Me and my husband were laughing because he pulled out a purse in his vault that's worth more than our house. And I think, this is just my thought process. It's like, it must be nice to have that much money. Did 100,000 to some people's like $20. You know what I mean? And like right now, with the way the economy is, I feel like 100 is where $20 was. You know what I mean? Like $100 is nothing. It's so easy to spend that right now. It's not even funny. And everybody can get it when they go get groceries. They get what I'm saying. But some people are blessed with money. And that's okay. You know what I mean? You have people who were born into it, people who became famous and earned it. But it was shocking to me at first. Like, I worked for this lady. I used to clean her house years ago. You ever see a Neiman Marcus magazine? It's like, when I was growing up, we had Sears and J.C. Penney's. So that's what you saw, was those type of prices. In my area and my family, that was the adaptable prices. I'll never forget working for this lady, and I pulled up my first Neiman Marcus, and I was like, oh my God, they had bird cages for $1,000. Like, but it's a California magazine. You know what I mean? And when you look at the inflation just in different states in the United States, I remember talking to this guy years ago on AOL dial-up, and he was telling me he was a fireman. He had to work 3 jobs because he was paying like $1,000 rent. Now, mind you, at that time, rent in my state, and I'm not in the ghetto or a poor area either, our rent was like $125 a month. And I'm sitting there like, what? Why would you pay $1,000 a month and have to work 3 jobs? And that's a lot of money back in 2001. But it just goes to show the high inflation in the traveling states is what I'm saying. Like, I'm from a small town. I don't have small town thinking, though, where some people do. But just, I like exploring and listening to all this because it's shocking to me how much this Neiman Marcus magazine was so different than J.C. Penney's. Like, I used to get those Breyer horses. My mom used to buy them for me. They were like $10, $5, $8. Now they're like $100. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. To me, it's crazy, the prices in different places, but I get it. Like, there's a guy that I know that buys lockers, and they have live auctions on here, and I mean big money. and they're in California. Their biggest purchasers are from the East Coast. Why do you think that is? Because most of the stuff that he has in California, we don't have over here. And my dad used to tell me years ago there was a guy that used to come up here. He knew him because he talked to him every time they had yard sales at my mom and dad's in different places in this area. He would come to the East Coast and buy stuff real cheap, take it back to California and like quadruple the price. Because out there it was a lot more money. And it just fascinates me. You know what I mean? When I saw that star, Jeffree Star with that purse, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even begin to take a purse like that in public. That would pay for my house. And then some. That's how much his purse costs. I'd be scared shitless to take that out of the vault. But that just goes to show when you're rich and famous and you're born with wealth, you take it for granted like it's everyday change to them. Just like us going out and spending $20 is everyday change to us. You know what I mean? To them, it's like 100,000 or $20. It's shocking to me. But anyways, I'm not putting down if a person's got $500 to spend on a journal, more power to them. I just can't. I can't do it. There was only one crafter I followed on here, and she's an art teacher, and I really appreciated her journals. And I wanted one. And I remember the first time I tried to get one, I kid you not, she has to schedule when she posts them because her following is so big. It's like a ghost. I'll never forget the first time she posted one. She showed a video and then she says, on this date is when I'm going to put them in my Etsy. She has to do it that way because people weren't even letting her finish her videos and they were running into her Etsy and purchasing them and buying them up that fast because that's how popular she is. And I'm not kidding. So she says, I have to schedule it because it's the only way I can be fair to everybody else. And that way you can actually see the flip throughs before you buy one of my journals. She says, but I'm sorry. People keep running in and buying up all my stuff and I can't get it out fast, a fair way. So she did it and I went and I'm literally sitting there hitting refresh for 10 minutes until the time that she's supposed to post. And I missed them. That's how freaking fast her shit was posted and gone. And I kid you not. And I told my husband, I give up. I said, I've been trying to get one of her journals and I just can't get a hold of one. So finally, she scheduled another one. I said, I'm not going to do this on my phone. I'm going to sit on my damn computer and do this because it's faster. I went on my desktop. And she had vintage ones done in like the era of the 70s where it had kind of like a Holly Hobby type theme with fabric and different things in it. So I had my eye on a particular one and I thought I'm going to hit refresh and I'm going to hit that buy button immediately. I couldn't even put it in my cart because I was afraid somebody'd snatch it. So I hurried up and hit buy immediately, and I finally got one. And that's the only journal I have ever paid $100 for, and I will never do it again. But I have one of hers, and that's all I wanted. My husband's like, I can't believe you paid that much money. Because I think a lot of people in their mind around here, like junk journals aren't popular where I live because nobody knows about them that much here yet. But I think it's because people are thinking, why would you pay $100 for something when you could go right to the Dollar Tree and pick up a journal and make your own for $1.25? And people don't see the craft in them until they follow a YouTuber and they see. I do not regret this journal whatsoever. It's huge, like massive room to be added to it. She's got fabrics in it. You could tell she really shopped for this because it's a lot. It's beautiful. And I could put tons of stuff in it. So I was happy I got it, but I'm done spending that kind of money. My average range for a nice crafty journal, this is just my opinion, I got my very first one off at Etsy. I paid $26 for it, and believe me, it's like a $65 one. Like she put a lot of work into it, the girl, but she was new, and I mean, it's beautiful. When I showed it to people and I said she only charged 25 or $26, they were like, "What?" Because it's really pretty. So I think sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes I think it's just about, selling and people appreciating what you're putting into it. Because diaries, when I was a kid that had locks on them, they didn't cost that much money. And I could put my own stickers and doodles and whatever in them. And what did you pay? $5, $7? But now it's like with all the crafts that's going into it and you see the craft, it's different. You have to be on the crafter side and creating it to understand that they're a one of a kind. You can't go to the Dollar Tree and purchase these because they're made to be one of a kind. Nobody else is going to own them. But I still think $100 is a lot of money. So when I usually look for a good book, if I'm really looking for something, because usually I go in the month of November and I scroll Etsy and I like surprising somebody random and just buying something to help them with Christmas money or whatever. I try to go anywhere between, I would say somewhere in the 20s, and my highest limit I try to stick with is around $65 and down, because I feel to me that's fair. But it just depends. If a person feels their stuff is worth more than that, then that's fine. But I'm on a budget. I live paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes I get a surprise check, but it is what it is. And I'm not saying that, I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm saying that journals aren't worth paying $300 and $500. I don't ever want people to believe that. If you've got that kind of money and you want to spend that kind of money, that's up to you. But it's not something I would do. And it also depends, just like I always tell CDC on YouTube, what are you here for? Well, the same thing is with a crafter. Is that their living or is it a hobby? Because I know one girl that creates on here, it is her living. It actually paid for her petrol to heat her home and everything else. And if you're looking for that kind of money out of your journals to make a living, then that's where you stand, and you're going to pay, because these people are actually paying bills with what they're creating. Mine are more of a hobby. And it's not that I don't help my husband with the bills. It's just where I live, my cost of living is not that high. And I'm not selling my journals to pay my electric bill. When I sell my journals, it goes into like Christmas gifts for the grandkids and extra stuff. It's like things like that. Even when I worked, it was the same way. Me and my husband always had an agreement when we got married. His money always went into the main bills. My money paid for everybody's Christmas, both sides of our family, our kids, and I bought their school supplies, their school clothes, and things like that. Like, I take care of the rest. And sometimes if he was short, because when we first got together, he was in construction, he was off in the wintertime. So he didn't get unemployment all the time. So my money picked up what was left over, and what he saved, during the time he was working would roll over. But I was the main provider through the winter. Like, we've always balanced each other. So that's basically how we do it. But if I need something, like one night I had a live sale on my YouTube channel. I needed a laptop and I needed a printer at one point. So when I've had live sales on here, they have helped me keep my equipment up. So if my Crafty Styles would happen to grow into an AdSense paying channel, because that's where I'm heading for with my Crafty Styles, I'll tell you right now, I do not want Tammy's Passions monetized. I never have. My Crafty Styles, I am working on that to be a paid for channel. I do want to be monetized if I get there. If I don't, I'm okay. But if I get there, the money from that channel will be to roll back into my craft supplies. And that's only fair to my husband. He shouldn't have to pay for my entire hobby. So to me, that's different. You know what I mean? That channel is going to be different from this one. This channel, I never wanted it to be monetized for two reasons. It's because it's supposed to be a tool for my bookstore, and because I want to change up over here. I'm going to go back to books eventually. And I like switching it over here. I don't like following the YouTube algorithm. And every time I switch my category, I draw different people. When I was reading synopsises of books, I was getting comments from people I don't hear from anymore because it was drawing book people. When I do crafts, it draws crafty people and sometimes other categories. But it's like each time I've changed, it has screwed with the algorithm. So this channel's everywhere. My crafty styles is going to be focused more on teach crafts, and it's going to have a reason to be on YouTube to follow the algorithm. So it's going to be completely different on that channel. And I'm okay with that. Because I wanted to CDC. Because I liked the journal and I wanted a piece of her work. And as you grow as a crafter, a lot of times when you get bigger CDC, your prices go up. And hers, the first journal I tried to purchase from her was like in the 50 area. And as she got bigger and more popular, sometimes your prices go up, and it depends on what you're putting in it. Because her first one was more paper. This one here was more, I would say, fabric, and it had some quilting in it. And when you get into quilting, you're going to pay more money. I mean, have you ever looked at the price of a quilt CDC homemade? They're not cheap. Excuse me. So when people do journals and quilts, it's not cheap. So I could afford hers at 100, but if she keeps getting famouser and her prices keep going up, I'm not going to be able to afford her prices later. So that's why I paid what I did for it now. So I could have at least one and say, hey, I got at least one off of that person. Now, this is how I feel about digitals. I actually started creating digitals a long time ago, back in 2008. I created animations and digitals first before I did the real scrapbooking type deal. The only thing I have to say about this is I love digitals. And somebody made a comment to me about digitals a while ago, and they say, why would you even pay the money that anybody offers in digitals? Because everybody can have it. It's not an original. I disagree. Digitals are just like me doing these prompts I do every time on my crafty styles. Me and Tina and Sandy all did the same cards, and we came out with different art. I have never seen yet a person who has used the same digitals and came out with the same creation. Every time that I see people use digitals, whatever is on our mind to create with them, they're all different. I have never seen two journals identical from digitals ever. Until it's showed to me, I won't believe it. Because I troll Etsy all the time. Just looking at the new journals. I always type in handmade journals or junk journals just to see what comes up, just to see what's out there. And sometimes ephemera even pops up. But I think digitals are nice because when you buy a paper line like Stamperia, you're paying top dollar, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And then you'll see like Graphic 45, oh, we're bringing this back out. But I cannot create one journal on one paper line, like one pack, unless they have two sets of each papers. The way that I do my journals, I have to buy two of them. When you buy digitals, once you buy the digital set, they're yours to copy the rest of your life. Once you own them, they're yours. You can keep running them as much as your little heart desires. You cannot copy Stamperia. You cannot print them because that's copyright infringement. So to me, I like digitals better because not only they're cheaper, once you buy them, you can keep using them. And I think some of these digital creators, to be honest, they're pretty damn good. I think some of them are even prettier than paper lines because I think they can get really good. So that's my, I know you do CDC, but that's my take on friggin' digitals, as I love them. I love both. I'm a Stamperia junkie, and I have never used my Stamperia paper yet because I pet it. I will eventually, but once it's discontinued, it sucks because, me personally, if I owned a paper line, I would turn them into digitals instead of canceling them. I think they're crazy for not turning them into digitals. I think that instead of retiring them, they should say, okay, we're turning them into digitals. But then they're probably afraid they wouldn't make the money because if everybody knew they were eventually becoming digitals, they probably would wait. Who knows what they think? I don't know. But I mean, look at some of these. This girl right here doesn't sell anymore, and I don't know why. But this was a digital set. This blue right here. This was a digital creation. I love this. And the girl that created these had some kind of conflict with PayPal. And she took her set away. But this was, I'll show you the entire set. This was one of them. These are beautiful. So to me, it's like, but I just think that when you look at people that create digitals, they're all different. This girl was a digital set. This was digital. Some of these digitals, that's all I have to say, is they're beautiful. They're just stunning. This was part of it. This was another piece of the digital. And all I did was run this off on cardstock. Needs glued and fixed. And this, I own this. It's mine. The only thing you can't do is share it with other people because it's a copyright. I mean, to them, it's an infringement. And I get it because they're doing work to it. They did the work. This was a different digital set. This here was a Pinterest picture. It's like I said, this journal will never be sold because some of this stuff I'm sure is copyrighted in here because I pulled some of these off of Pinterest, and Pinterest is not guaranteed to be copyright free. I did this journal as a demonstration of where my talent was at so far. This is just a showpiece. But this was a digital set that I had purchased, and you get a lot. Like it's already there. You just cut it up. This here is what I mean by my digital experience. I have these brackets, and I pulled this picture off of Pinterest and then bracketed these myself and created desire across it. This is the kind of stuff I did digitally before I started junk journaling. These were more pieces. I have a couple pieces in here from Tracy Fox, one of her digital kits, because I like Tracy stuff too. But I'm picky about even what digital kits I pick. Like this is just, I love this journal. I put a lot of time into this sucker. This sucker took me an entire year to create, and I had a blast. Oops. And I showed a flip through. It's got 1, 2, 3. It's got 5 signatures in it. Big chunk of munka. And I had fun with that. So I do all kinds of different types of journals too. I don't have a favorite. I've done, that was my first hidden signature in that one. And the one I just made for Gemma was a hidden signature. I do shown signatures. I have made them one-handed out of file folders. Just I don't really have a favorite, but this was one of my first types. This is just an altered book journal. And as I was creating this one, I actually fell in love with it, so I kept it. These are pictures out of National Geographic. This one I actually used. This is the first journal of mine I created that I used of my own. And I ripped out so many pages. There's no signatures in this whatsoever. This was inspired by Crafty Irina. And she would tear out so many pages. And the 6x9s are a perfect size for this because you don't have as much wrinklage. But I love this journal. And I call these my Peekaboo Pockets. And I love National Geographic because they get the most beautiful photography. So that's what I did with this. And then these parts get the paper clips, which I could alter them. These are pockets from both pages glued together, but you can't tell where I tore the pages out because I would go through and tear out like 5 pages, go through, tear out 5 more. And where I made the pockets, it covers where the torn pages were. I've been all over the place with these journals, but I love this one. I made it to sell it. Thanks. And I fell in love with it. I was like, you know, most crafters, they sell it, but the horse, the blue birds, like I love blue and horses and butterflies. And the more I put it aside because I was going to sell it. And then I thought, oh my God, Tammy, like this is like everything you love is in this thing. Like the waterfall in the back. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't part with it. So this is the first one I kept. But 6x9 is my favorite size. And that is not the size of a golden book. And that is not the size of a Reader's Digest. It's just 6x9. I mean, this is a random book called The Magic of Conflict. But the books I like tearing apart, though, too, Ma, this is something else I like for people to understand. Not all of us crafters will tear apart a book from the 1800s. I understand what you were saying earlier, but not all of us think that way. I literally, the books that I take apart so far that I have taken apart have been books that I have put up for sale on my YouTube channel, the Facebook Marketplace, and in my local, because we have a community yard sale here. If they do not sell, mainly they're like manager books or business books or things nobody wants to read, I tear them apart. And that's what this was, The Magic of Conflict. Nobody wanted it. Apparently nobody wants to read about conflict, so turned it into a journal. Why not? It's better than a landfill. And like right now I'm working on a bunch of tags, and it's a business book nobody wanted on managerial positions or something like that. You can see it on the book pages. And I've had Harlequins falling apart, you know, them old skinny little things that nobody's interested in. And heck, some of them have ripped pages. I'll rip them up. I don't care. But I can say this, CDC, because I know he likes collecting vintage, and so does Pegasus. Dave, he hates that when crafters tear up old books. I was in an auction, and I'll even show it to you someday when I show my collection of books from the 1800s. I was in an auction and I fell in love with the cover of this one book. And my mind thought, oh my God, that would be like the perfect journal. It would be gorgeous as a cover. Well, this is Tammy's thought process, just so you know. When the book came in, the cover is even more beautiful than what it looked like in the auction. But when I opened the book and I saw that it was in beautiful condition, there wasn't even an earmarked page in this book. There is no bentness in it, nothing. It's in beautiful condition. It is a beautiful poetry book. It sits on my nightstand and it doesn't move. It's not going to be torn apart for the cover. And that happens. Believe it or not all crafters are heartless. And I will never tear that book apart. It's too precious. And I have a daughter that feels the same way I do about vintage stuff, so she'll probably be the one to inherit it. And I'll tell her, she don't tear books apart anyways, but I am picky about what I tear apart and what I don't. And I have a few books like that are older that I just cherish. And you should have seen my face the first time I opened a box of books from the 1800s that I actually won in an auction. My husband like, what's wrong with you? I was hugging the whole box. I pulled out the books. I was like, oh my God. Because you're like, how many years old this is? How many people have held this? What house has been in? But you know what really kills me that's even funnier, Mom? This is what cracks me up. Is when you're in, I call it the Mrs. Olsen type of people, because you know what a snob she was on Little House on the Prairie. I think it's hysterical when you go into an auction on here and someone says, oh, well, I just can't have a book that's been from somebody who smoked or has pets. Really? It's from the damn 1800s, people. You don't know if somebody smoked a pipe over it or if their dog sniffed it. You can't guarantee where this shit comes from. I find that absolutely hysterical. When I see that happen in auctions on YouTube, I just sit over here and snicker. I'm over here rolling laughing. I think that's just hysterical. I can't help it. I'm like, you people are so snobby. And you can't guarantee that, especially when they're selling stuff that they found at auctions and things like that. You don't know all the details of where that shit's been unless you purchased it yourself when it was brand new. And hell, even then it could have sat in a warehouse and a rat could have ran past it. That's the kind of stuff that cracks me up. I don't know. I find humor in crazy places. But I can't help it. I just think that shit's hysterical. I just do. It just makes me want to tell a person after I sold him the book, yeah, I took a shit on it, wiped my ass with it, and then I sold it to you. How's that make you feel? I can't help it. I'm so rude that way. Because it's just stupid. Common sense would tell you if it's vintage, you don't know who the hell had it. You don't know what parlor it sat in. Hell, it could have sat in a whorehouse for all you know. Somebody could have had it in a saloon. I have to laugh at that shit. I think that's funny. People are going to hate me for when they come watch this live later. They're going to be like, that girl's nuts. But it's true. You can't guarantee it. A lot of guys back in the day were pipe smokers. They used to sit in the library and smoke their pipes. It just kills me. It kills me. Oh, I can't tell you who did what. It's like you take that risk when you're buying something old. It's just so funny. So there you go, CDC. That's your YouTube street funny shit. That's your drama this week. Is people wanting to guarantee where stuff comes from, and you can't guarantee that. You're just sitting on your end like a, if you're a seller, you're like sitting over there scratching your head like, what the kind of people am I talking to? Are they really don't have that common sense? I don't know. I just think that's funny. I can't help it. I just want to tell people when they say stuff like that, yeah, go buy brand new if you don't understand. Oh my gosh. It's comical. But anyways, I get a kick out of watching people. I can't help it. I'm a people person and I think people are funny. I learn a lot too watching people streams too. Like, people who are really into glassware. I'm telling you, people are smart on whatnot. They're talking Fenton and I know, me too, Ma. But it's funny, like, yeah, it's like I'll be watching these people rolling in glassware and they're like, what the hell is a Fenton? I don't pay attention to brand names. I mean, like the only brand name I could tell you is Stamperia because it was the first paper pad I ever bought was from their company. That's the only reason why I know them. But I'm the one that brought out their horse line. A lot of people don't know that, but I wrote them. If you have an idea for Stamperia that you would like to see come to life, you message them through Facebook and they will make it happen. I told them I would love to see I said a wild horse paper line though. And I said I would love to see a wild horse paper line with some black stallions in it. And I thought it was funny because at the beginning of the video, when they introduced the equestrian line, they had a black horse at the beginning of the video. I thought that was so cute. But they turned it into an equestrian type with a lady, and then they had a couple pictures that were wild. I love horses, but I don't want them with halters and bridles on. I want them just free looking. And then somebody said to me one day, they had a sale and they had a horse. Oh, well, Tammy wouldn't like this because it's fenced in. Did I say anything about fences? Did I say anything about a horse being on a farm? No. I said no bridles and halters. I just want the wild horse look, like the free horse is my favorite. Not the wild horses running in a field out with no barriers, just a free looking horse. But it's funny when you tell people your preferences and they act like you're picky. It's not that I'm picky. I just think they're beautiful that way. And a lot of the older pictures that are like from the 1900s, it's hard to find free horses with no halters and bridles because a lot of them back in the day they used horses for fox hunts and stuff like that. So they were always like in fields with like halters and stuff on. Or you'll see them sitting with like proper Englishmen in these saddles. I don't want them with people on them. I just like free horses. Like, you know, like this. No bridles, no, just free. Didn't matter. My horse used to run through the field and I would take pictures of him just because I thought he was pretty. I have pictures of my horse I'll have to show you guys one day that I used to have when I was younger. And I would take his halter off just to take free pictures of him because I just think they're pretty in their natural look. But that's just my preference. But it's not like I don't like all horse pictures because I do like them. It's just I prefer the free ones better. That doesn't make me picky. It's just like having a dog without a leash or a collar. Sometimes we take my dog's collar off and she runs without her collar on in the house because I just think it's cool. My husband will take her collar off and he goes, "You're free, you're free." CDC, you took a shower. Did you wash your stinky tush? I don't know. I think digitals are fun though, Ma. I do. I think they really are. I would like to have some digitals done. I haven't had time to sit and work on any here lately, but I would like to add some digitals into my Etsy eventually too. It's not going to be nothing real fancy, but it'll be cutesy. One of these days. I have different ideas for my Etsy. I got to get the videos out there or what I'm going to get ready to start putting in it. Just haven't done it yet. I was trying to get like 10 things created to put in my store. And I've got like 8 or 9 so far. I just got to get off my lazy tush and get down here and do a video and weigh it in and put it in my Etsy. But I have 2 Etsys. The one that's the most active is Tammy's Passions 21. Nothing in either one of them right now. But I do have good reviews. I have a 5.0 review on Tammy's Passions. And I want to start my other Etsy. It's going to be my Crafty Styles is what I'm going to call it. It's already made. I just got to get stuff in it. So, but Tammy's Passions can have anything in it. I've sold book sets out of that one and different things like that. Where my Crafty Styles, I'm going to have more crafts. I just got to get busy. I love how YouTube makes purple look blue. That looks like totally dark blue to me, and it is very bright purple over here. What if it shows up on the tube? No. They show everything purple blue. I'm beginning to wonder if some of these things, people on these platforms are colorblind. Because that is a purple. Like, I'm talking like purple people eater purple. And they've got it looking blue to me. But it's not. It's a really pretty purple, actually. But it looks like navy blue. That's so weird. Hey, Ohana, how are you? Ohana is so sweet. You're going to be decorating your cute tree again this year. I watched her decorate her Christmas tree last year. She looks so cute. Let's see here. So we'll let this dry overnight. I'll probably end up working in this next week because I still got a lot of pages to color. It just takes so long to dry sometimes. Yeah, this looks good for my first mixed media book. I love the colors. Cute. Like when you look at the colors on the pages where you got sloppy. I think that's so cute. I'll never forget our first Christmas. Oh my gosh. My husband was late because he's last minute everything. And oh my gosh, I was so mad at him. He brought home the shortest, fattest, not the skinny, skimpy Charlie Brown, the shortest, fattest tree you could possibly find. It was so short and fat that I couldn't even set it up to have Christmas presents under it. There's no room. I go, what the hell? He says, this is all I could find. I said, well, if you wouldn't wait to the last freaking minute in order for my kids' Christmas presents to fit under it, Ma, I had to sit it up on our coffee table. It was that bad. I was ready to kill him. And I have pictures of it upstairs. Oh my God, I never laughed so hard in my life. So we call that our Charlie Brown tree. I said, can't even fit Prism. And it was so short. It was awful. So after that, I never let him buy trees anymore without me picking them out because it was terrible. Now we have a fake tree because needles get everywhere. That's too funny. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm behind in journaling. What the heck are you talking about, mister? I haven't even showed my last year's journals that I did yet. They're completed. I just haven't got them down here to do a video on them because I like showing the journals I used the year before and who made them. And this year I'm like behind 4 months on journaling. So what I do to catch up, this sounds crazy. I go back through me and Sassy Sandy's messages because I report to her on a daily basis. We talk all the time. And I'm always telling her what I do that day. And then it triggers back how the day went so that I can catch up in my journals because I got lazy and I didn't write in them. So I'm behind. I'm way behind. But I did start one at the beginning of October. And what I do with my journals is funny. Whoever ends up with my journals and my kids, they're going to die laughing when they see what I do to how I write in them and stuff because they're going to be like, what the hell? Where is she at? I'm going to have them all over the place like they're Rubik's Cube. I start out in January. Usually it'll be like kind of like a winterish type journal. I kind of look for stuff that's blue and snowy and winterish. So I start January 1st in them. Then when February is by, now it depends on how big the journal is. If I haven't finished the one in January, then I'll put to be continued because I'm now going to my Valentine's journal. And I usually buy a handheld, maybe 2 signature handheld one is my favorite. The whole month of February is nothing but a Valentine's journal. Then I usually finish it. If there's any pages left over in that one, it's okay. But if my other one from January is thicker, then when February is over, I go back to that journal and continue where I'm at after I finish my Valentine's. So in other words, I'll write from January to February, go into the Valentine's. And then March 1st, I start back after January. They're going to be all over the place with my journals. And I think it's absolutely hysterical because I love doing my journals this way. And then March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, I'm good. October, I always get a Halloween journal for the whole month of October. And I do the same damn thing. And then November is everything. So in December, it's only Valentine's, Halloween, and Christmas I do this with. And then Christmas, I do the same thing with the handheld for the whole month of December. And then I put the kids' Christmas pictures and stuff in it. That's where I fill up the pictures of the kids. My daughter's like, you don't run pictures off anymore for your photo albums. I like, nope. It all goes in my journals. So in order to see the pictures, you're going to have to go to my journals to find them. She's like ready to kill me. But I had this one journal. This is way before junk journaling. I've always journaled. I have this one journal. It's absolutely funny because you know how you ever seen those books where when you look at them, they're in kids' books too, where they'll have the cover and the book will go so far and then everything's upside down and you have to turn the book and the back of the book is actually right. You have to turn it right side up and it's another story. And then it goes upside down to the first one. I have a journal like that. And it's absolutely funny because it's really adorable. I can't remember where I found it, but I started writing in it. And then you have to flip it over and read from the back to the middle. They're going to be looking at my journals like, what the hell was wrong with our mother? But I love doing that because it's not normal. It's all over the place. And it's going to be hysterical when they go to read them. They're going to be like, what? But I like my journals that way. I think it's funny. But anyway, I'll show you a flip through this one, Ma. I don't think you ever saw this one. So this is how it starts. Now, I could do borders and extra things into this. I just haven't. But these are some of my favorite things. I love this one. This picture's so pretty. And then what happened was I skipped these pages. I forgot. These were stuck together, and I missed them. But it's okay. I can add pictures to them later. And then butterflies. And then I started this July 27, 2020. And then these were just random pictures I pulled. National Geographic's just got beautiful ones. And then in these, sometimes I can stick big journaling cards. But I didn't do it with this one. And then these are just outdoorsy. But you notice my pictures don't have people. And this was hysterical. I thought, look at that face. Look at the eyelashes. I saw that picture. I thought, oh my God, that looks like a prissy turkey. So, I mean, I love this. I love this. And then this pocket goes down from the top down. I either glue this way and this way, make a side pocket, or I glue this way and this way and make it up and down, or fold the page, and that's where my peekaboo pockets come in. And I love fall. It's my favorite season. And then there's a deer with a bird trying to land on its head. These are my coffee dyed papers. This here was a pretty paper. Believe that came out of a National Geographic. And then this was another one. And it's just so random. And then I about died because I saw this one and there's a person standing right there. It's like, what? I usually don't like people in my pictures. And then my peekaboo pockets, what I do is however I bend them, I put something that's peeking out, like an animal or something doing something. And then there's a turtle. And then what I did was I just cut a piece to match it right there. Give it a little abstract look. And then this here was, this was already in the book. Sometimes if I see images in a book, I leave it because it suits it. And I thought that was absolutely adorable. So I left that and wrote around it. So that's an actual book page. It was in this book. On conflict. I don't know how a cat and Mickey Mouse get in there, but it's there. And then this here was a bird peeking out the side. And I only put them in so far. Like I literally have this glued together, and that's not a page that goes all the way down in. I cut the picture and slide it in. And then this one here, this was a part of the book page too. This was an original page. So I left that one. And then there's a bird. And then there's my free horses. And then here, I'll leave some with writing. I like having something to look at as I'm writing in my journals. You know, I like having that picture because I used to put stickers or doodle. And And then this one was cute. I thought that was cute. I love their wildlife. And honestly, I don't even know if you can sell one of these type of books because, I mean, I would think these for photographer. Maybe these are copyrighted. I don't know. This here, I just like the picture of it. And then this was some flowers. And there's a pretty moth. And I just make it work. And then it goes to the next page. And then there was a stormy ship. I love ships too with great big sails. I like the pirate type ships. And there's a hummingbird. Look at that baby tiger. Little baby leopard laying on its back. I thought that was cute for a peekaboo. There's another ship picture. And then there's the wolf. I love some of the wildlife because it gives the foliage. And then this was a field of flowers. And then this pretty picture. It reminds me of kind of like a rainforest. And then here's a beautiful sunsetter. That's gorgeous. I love stuff like that. It's like my nature book. And there's another one. I had a bunch of National Geographic. Somebody just brought them to my bookstore and dumped them off. And then I like the writing on this. I thought that was cool. And I decided to cut them up and use them because nobody was buying them. I had them in my store. I even did videos on magazines and nobody seemed interested. So I decided to turn them into something upcycled and beautiful. See, so it doesn't have to be when us crafters rip up a book, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a really good thing that a person can turn a book into. I mean, I would rather see it turn into my journal and rip it apart than for it to end up in a landfill and just get gross. That's how I look at it. I need to work on my memory book. Now, this book you could tell was falling apart before I even did anything to it. This here is the memory of the two cats I had. For 21 and 22 years, I got blessed with Hope and Heather. And I made a memory book when they were put to sleep. And you can tell this was old. Look at it. The cover's falling apart. Like, see? That's what you call dry rot. So this book I just turned into this. It's my memory book of my two beautiful kitties I was blessed to have. They were sisters from the same litter. And I used Halloween and different things. That's my Hope. She had the little white dot on her chest. And I just did Halloween around them, and it goes into fall. And I'm not done with this. I actually have some more work to put into it. And if this falls apart, I'm okay with it because it is a memory book. But you can see where it's barely hanging on. And some books are like that. They come into your store that way. Because I didn't rip this one apart. It came this way. And these are little digitals that someone had made for Halloween. So I said digitals are really cute. And this was a spider. I cussy cut it out of a magazine. I tell you what, when you start seeing sales for stuff in magazines that come in, that's where all this stuff is cut from. Those were my babies. I miss my babies. And then it goes into fall. And what was funny about this book is there's actually a poem in this about death. And I left it right here. this had a poem on this page. So what I did was cover this part and I left this in this part of it because of my cats. It says, sweetest love, I do not go for weariness of thee, nor in hope the world can show a fitter love for me. But since that I at last must part, 'tis best thus to use myself in jest, by feigned deaths to die. Yesterday the sun went hence, and yet is there today. He hath no desire nor sense, nor half a short away. Then fear not me, but believe I shall make speedier journeys, since I take more wings and spurs than he. When thou sighest not wind, but sighest my soul away. When thou weepest unkindly kind, my blood's doth decay. It cannot be that thou lovest me as thou sayest. If in thine my love you waste, the art the best of me. Let not thy divining heart forethink me any ill. Destiny may take thy part, and may thy fears fulfill. But think that we are but turned aside to sleep. They who one another keep alive ne'er parted thee. And this was not a poetry book. This was actually called The Child from the Sea. And that was the only poem in the book. And I thought, I'm keeping that. So I left that open and just made it part of them. But it goes from that to fall. And I've just found different things. I've either bought at the Dollar Tree or had, and I just keep adding. And look at this picture. There's a little black cat reading a book. Or I just cut these out of, like sales magazines that you get in. Like Miles Kimball and Current and all those. They always have cute stuff in those books you can cut out. Like this here. This is actually a wall thing you can buy. We are thankful for our blessings. I just cut these out. So this is a true junk journal, people. This is from, a lot of this stuff is from my junk mail. And then these are just images I found. Probably lots of this is copyrighted, but I don't give a shit. It's my personal use. I can do what I want with it. That's the only time I break copyright, is I will copy for my own purposes, but I don't sell the stuff I do that with. And then this is a Bewitching Autumn. Stop in for a spell. Like, these are just things I've cut out. And I turned it into a memory book. And there's my babies. My daughter just sent me more pictures of them. So I need to add some more. Thank you. I've got all different kinds of journals. And I'll tell you another journal that makes it really nice too. Is, you know how you collect when like if you, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to a funeral of a family member, I always collect those little cards, like those little eulogy cards when you sign the book. Well, I had some of them laying around in my cards, and I thought, I'm going to make a book. So I just took a cereal box or a cracker box, I forget, and I put signatures in it with pockets. And now I have a place to put all those little booklets of the people in my family that I have lost when the announcements have been in the newspaper, or you've had those little cards. That's what I did, is I made a journal for those too. And I have a postcard journal. Postcards from when I was a kid. I mean, they're just laying in a box collecting dust and nobody sees them. So Tammy made a journal. I didn't make this one. I made the journal for the deaths, but this one here I bought off of JD. This came from Australia. I saw this in her store and I thought, I know exactly what I'm going to do with that. So I put stamps. All she had was this. I put a sticker on it and put the stamps in. And I turned this into my journal of postcards that were sent to me since I was a kid from friends. and my stamps. And that's what I turned this into. So this is my postcard stamp book. Can't you tell? Tammy's always loved horses. My grandmother would send me postcards for vacation with horses. My friends would send me horses. And these are all my, even my, this came from my dentist. Brush up for the holidays. And it was a reminder to make an appointment. I loved it because it had Snoopy on it. So I put that in there. These are everything I've collected since I was a kid that people have mailed me. So I put them all in here, and I love it because now I can show it. And they don't just sit around. Look at all my stamps. I cut it clear off to where the mailing was from. I make journals of everything. I just think it's cool. And then we went to Great Wolf Lodge, and I forgot to give him my door key. They change them anyways, but I kept that. And then I said a prayer for you today. I stick like random stuff in here that's cute. It's my little book of goodness. I still got a lot of room. I think I stopped right here. Where's the last entry? Yeah, I stopped right here, and I still have all this to fill. So, plenty of room. Like I said, I got a journal for everything. You can make a journal for anything. Literally. But JD made this one, and I like it. So that's what I turned it into. All kinds of shit sitting next to me. Even my Sunny Fun Time mails. I mean, do people think I have a journal problem? This is my Sunny Fun Time mail journal. All the people that I buy stuff off of, I make pages and I put their business cards in them to where I can find them. These are the people I purchased from. I keep their information on these pages. This was Defy. This is Carehart's page. And there's the Disabled Artist Foundation card. This is Rosie's. All the people I've ever purchased from. Even if I don't purchase from them anymore, it's okay. They're still in here. And I have this book to finish. I need to put some Whatnot people in here. But yeah, a Sunny Fun Time mail book. Hey, it helps me keep track. Tammy doesn't have a Rolodex. She's got a journal. Oh, I think that's funny. Yeah, I've got to go too. My hubby's home. So I'm going to go up and torture him before he goes to bed. But thank you all for hanging out with me. This was a fun evening. We talked about a lot of topics because I'm a Gabby Hayes. So you all have a good one. CDC, you be good. Take care and sweet dreams. I'll probably be crafting again later tonight because I've been working on some projects. So I never stop crafting. I'm busy. Good night. Sleep good. CDC, I hope at least one bed bug bites you though, but not a bad bed bug. I don't want you infested. Just a little one to annoy you, like a little flea or something, just to bite you and say, yep, Tammy told me to. Good night.